Oh, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? Happy Friday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Going to be talking with all of you guys today. Who's working today? You see the parking lot out there, Frank?
It's normal on a Friday.
Friday before Memorial Day weekend is a little bit more empty compared to earlier this week where I couldn't find anywhere to park. It's crazy. For all of you guys working today, we appreciate you guys making our day a part of yours as we talk some Padres baseball. We talk about what's going on in the sports world. A lot of different topics to get to today and a lot to get to when it comes to, I don't know why, all of a sudden it's the trade deadline conversations. Frank, are we at that part of the year?
It's interesting for sure. I mean, we'll talk about obviously the big move that was made at the last trade deadline for here, but with everything that they're talking about with Houston and possibly selling off entirely, I mean, that's a team with a lot of assets that a lot of teams could pick apart.
How about Detroit?
Yeah.
Did you see that report today?
Yeah.
From Robert Murray?
Mm-hmm.
What do MLB executives think the Tigers can get for Tarek Skubal? Here's executive one. The first one on the list. I don't think anyone can answer that as executive one. This is from Robert Murray's piece on Fansided. I don't think we have ever seen a pitcher this good coming off such a bizarre injury. He's playing for a team that is trying, black screen, to win themselves. The team that is trying to win themselves, so there are many factors at play. If I had to answer, I'd say one top 100 prospect plus a top 15 and one more throw-in. Robert Murray then asked Executive One if he would do that. Executive said the Padres will. I find that to be interesting. I find
it to be interesting, some of the names that these Major League Baseball executives have. I mean, who thinks to name their kid Executive One when they're born?
Foul to start off a foul out Friday.
He draws the foul.
That doesn't hit as much as you thought it was going to hit. I slightly chuckled.
No, that's all I need. Just the slightest of chuckles is fine.
Executive 2 on the list. I just going down to the first 2 on the list. It would have to be a Dombrowski or Preller to get a top prospect. Everyone else treats it like Wall Street and asset value. So my guess is a couple of top 10 prospects for a couple of months of him, or Friedman could go out and get him. He ups a team's chances to win the World Series by a pretty big margin. You get 2 starts in that 5-game series. Friedman gets him. That's my prediction. Have to be a Preller type or maybe Andrew Friedman. Could you imagine with the way things are playing out? We're coming off of Padres Dodgers. You got to see a arms race, no pun intended, between the Padres and the Dodgers for Tarek Skubal. I've seen now Josh Hader carrot get dangled. I've seen the Aroldis Chapman carrot get dangled. I mean, people have talked about Yordan Alvarez, but here we are on May 22nd, going into the Memorial Day weekend holiday, and we got a report where it was what executives think about Tarek Skubal. I don't think these are all fun talking points at this point in the year. There's still a lot of baseball to be played until August 3rd, which is a later trade deadline than they're usually used to. This is actually John Heyman, New York Post, reported this about the chances of a trade are rising for Tarek Skubal. And so he was asking around who could potentially put that together. I guess my first question would be, Frank, with the injury, do you still believe in Tarik Skubal to be the dominant force that he was? Is it worth a chance to take? I think the answer to that is yes. I mean, I'm a little bit less inclined on Tarik Skubal because of the injury, but if the Padres acquired Tarik Skubal at the trade deadline, would you be upset about it?
No,
I wouldn't either. I mean, even after the, what a potential injury could be, or like what it would be after he comes, because he's coming back pretty quickly, right? You said yesterday that he was like in line to throw a bullpen, or he already threw one.
He did. He threw a bullpen through 37 pitches, I think the report was, and that he said that he hit his velocity target. Well, that could have been 80. That could have been 100. We don't know what the velocity target was.
It could have been like 75 coming off the injury.
Exactly. But he did. He has thrown a bullpen. He was happy with his progression. So he could be coming back sooner rather than later.
I think it's interesting on the executives are talking about AJ Preller, about how they think he could potentially pull this off. From executive one on this post in the New York Post by John Heyman, he made it sound like it's not going to cost you an Ethan Salas. He made it sound like it'll just cost you probably some solid arms in the minor leagues, maybe a throw in there as well. A couple of good prospects. If you're able to, if you're able to get a Tarik Skubal and it costs you a Cash Mayfield, I think you got to do it. I really do. Now, again, these are just rumors that are out there. It doesn't say that the Padres are interested in Tarik Skubal. It doesn't say that the Tigers are going to trade Tarik Skubal. But the conversation that spurred this particular article by John Heyman was, with the Tigers being as bad as they have been, it is increasing the percentage that Tarik Skubal gets moved at the trade deadline. And then when they asked about what's it going to take to anonymous executives, they said a couple of different things, right? They said that, first thing was, top 100 prospect plus a top 15, maybe one more to throw in. And when asked if they were going to do it, the Padres will. No hesitation.
Yeah. Who would do the crazy thing?
Yeah.
Gee, the guy who's done the crazy thing the last 10 years. Wow. What a shot in the dark.
I think that would be a big pickup for the Padres. I don't know if it would be worth trading for just a rental of Tarik Skubal. But I agree with one where he's in the chat. If it leads to potentially an extension, I'm in for sure. The only way that it would pay off for you if you made a move like that for a rental is if you made it to the World Series. I think making it. If you don't win the World Series, I just think it's so hard to do that in the playoffs. It's hard to make it through those rounds. But if you made the World Series, if you're the Padres made the World Series with Tarik Skubal as a rental, I would chalk that trade up as a success. I really would.
Yeah, I would too. But right now, with the way this team is playing right now, the starting pitching staff is good, is decent. They're doing the job. The bullpen is incredible. With how much this offense is lacking right now, I'm sorry, I don't see the Padres going past the wild card series. So they are really now. If the offense picks it up and plays at least partly to the potential that it can, that may change. But right now, this is looking like a one and done team in the playoffs, which honestly, a trade for Skubal at that point with most likely no extension because you have so many massive contracts on the books already and a potential of a salary cap coming in for next season. I don't see the trade being worth it right now.
Well, the thing that's interesting to me is we have seen two articles now back to back.
He's not under contract with the Tigers.
No, this is last year of his contract.
Yeah, this is his final year of arbitration.
And you'd have to pay him whatever. What did he get? Like 30 something in the deal. You'd have to pay $10 million for a rental of Skubal, roughly, give or take. But if you look at, here's what I wanted to bring up. I think it's interesting. It always seems to be like this. So yesterday we talked about the Dennis Lin article. They're looking at relief pitching, which is shocking to me because the Padres, as Eno Sarris said on Ben and Woods, are on track to have the best bullpen of all time, which I think a lot of Padres fans think is a little crazy with some of the arms that are in there, because I get a complaint about I think I get a DM or a text or something about every reliever that comes in, but talk about how trash he is, which is funny to me because Eno Sarris said they're on pace to have the best bullpen ever. How do you have the best bullpen ever when you have all these trash arms, according to fans? It's okay. It's emotional reactions. It's fine. It's why there's a 24-hour rule. But the first thing, when we start getting to trade deadline talk time, which is now, this is the beginning of it. I thought when we got to this point, it would be like the big crazy article would have been Padres are asking about CJ Abrams or something, because they need some offensive help. He is on a absolute tear right now. They don't really have a second baseman. Maybe they move him to shortstop. I don't think they would do that, but to bring him back to this organization, another big trade with the Nationals potentially. Like, to me, that was going to be the big, bold rumor for the Padres. But yesterday it was about Aroldis Chapman and Josh Hader, two closers on failing teams that are not better than the closer you currently have. Now, it'd be upgrades to your bullpen, but it was very interesting that those were the names listed. And then you get to day number 2 of this now trade rumor season, if you will. And John Heyman's got executives like, AJ Preller would do it. Padres would do it. You never know what the Padres are going to do. You never know what AJ Preller is going to do. That's what keeps this like fun and entertaining era of Padres baseball with AJ Preller. You can say what you want about how, they haven't won a championship yet. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most fun I've ever had as a Padres fan these last 5 or 6 years. I mean, for so many years. And look, I know people want to win. I want to win. I want to see this Padres team win. But for like most of my life, you would see, let's go back in time. Let's just pretend back in. Tarek Skubal's available. It'd be like, okay, that's somebody we'll never trade for. Now it's anybody that might be eligible to be traded. The first thing that always gets thrown out there, Padres. It's like that Squidward meme. He's pointing down from the rafters. Padres. I find those talks to be interesting. They obviously all talk to each other. They know what's going on. I mean, I've talked to NFL executives. This is like the Diego Pavia situation, like why he was not drafted. We have connections, obviously, at where I'm at for coaching football with college and NFL people. Those guys all talk to each other. Most of them end up working with each other at some point in time. Even division rivals, they're all comparing notes on players, and they're not trying to screw the other one over. They're just being honest. I mean, everything that is said gets around in the NFL. That's why, like, when Diego Pavia took his interviews with whoever it was, I think it was like the Chicago Bears or something like that. They told they literally say in these interviews, we know somebody that does it for these teams. They go, everything you tell me, just pretend this. Just know that it's going to happen. Like, everybody in the league's going to know about this interview because we share information. They got to know when it comes to drafting in the National Football League. They have to have some idea of what other teams like so they can adjust their draft for it. It's the same thing in Major League Baseball. You don't think these guys aren't talking to each other, even like the division rivals? We think AJ Preller and Andrew Friedman don't have conversations all the time. I mean, I've talked with a former GM before, not too long ago. He said, we're texting these guys. I still text all these guys all the time about what's going on. These guys love talking about potential trades and everything like that. So the fact that they are talking like this, I think shows you the Padres might be in on something at the trade deadline. Here's the other thing, too. We didn't really talk about this too much yesterday in the article of Dennis Lin, but we didn't get to the ownership angle of things. The new ownership group is expected to be aggressive in spending to chase a World Series title. They have said that. It has been reported. So you telling me they're not going to like try to make a splash maybe early as owners? Try to get some extra hype? I mean, everything is lining up for maybe what could be a fun trade deadline, not just for the Padres, but I think in Major League Baseball with the trade deadline's at. I found it interesting, though, the Tarek Skubal idea. I don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot of playing that still needs to happen. A lot of games still need to happen. A lot of baseball left in the season. But so far, again, the trade deadline is August 3rd, Max. It's going to be a long time in the YouTube chat. But I think, Frank, the links and the articles coming out with the Padres being relatively close, I don't think it's smoke and mirrors. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that should be exciting for Padres fans, knowing that this isn't going to be let's just try to get a couple guys on the margins like they did in 2024 or 2025 or whatever, 2023 when they added like G-Man Choi and Rich Hill. I think this is I think at this point, AJ Preller is wheeling and dealing to get a little bit more help for this team.
Yeah, and I also think it's also a byproduct of what we talked about and kind of joked about a couple minutes ago, which is you can never count out AJ Preller to do something crazy. So you may think it's an insane move, but who's the one guy that's made insane moves consistently over the course of his tenure as the general manager? And that is AJ Preller and the San Diego Padres. So you've kind of written yourself into these conversations, and that was just pure speculation, and I'm sure based off of track record. So yeah, it does not surprise me at all that the Padres would be in on these trade talks, because it is just so crazy and so out of the realm of what many teams would deem to be realistic, that it kind of, the more out of the realm of realism that it is, the closer it is to the realm of realism for this team and this general manager specifically.
I would, at this point in time, with some of these, and you're going to see more of these articles come out over the next couple of months, and I think it's going to, we'll see what the Padres decide to do. But I find it ironic too, as we got to go to break. All of a sudden, all these teams are interested in Padres prospects again. I thought they had nothing to trade. I don't, what are you talking about? They got one of the worst farm systems in baseball. If the Padres, I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Padres end up getting one of these guys or multiple, I doubt it's going to be multiple. Let's not paint it just a sunshine and rainbows picture that they're going to get Skubal and Chapman and Alvarez and Hader. But if all of those players are like on paper going into the season, if you said they were on the trade block, Frank, you would imagine that the package for those players to get them on your team would be very high, correct?
Correct, yes.
If they're able to pull off any of those trades with having the worst, like one of the worst farm systems in baseball, that tells you everything you need to know about prospect rankings. Mm-hmm. It really does. And why you really shouldn't pay that too important to it, because the rankings that you see are not necessarily what everybody in baseball ranks themselves. They have their own boards, just like the draft. We're off and running. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Some interesting comments and some interesting news and rumors circling out there in the baseball world involving the Padres. Speaking of trades, Padres playing the A's for the first time since they acquired Mason Miller. Let's look back at the trade from 9 months ago when we come back. 10:24 on a Friday, getting you into the holiday weekend. We got Padres and A's all weekend, and then the Phillies come to town on Monday. We still got tickets to give away for that?
Yes, we do. We'll be at the Loft on Wednesday.
Nice. We'll be at the Loft on Wednesday. We have 2 tickets for Padres and Phillies at Petco Park on Memorial Day to give away. We'll be doing that in the 1 o'clock hour, if you will. This will be the first on Monday, which we won't be here for, this will be the first NL East opponent the Padres will face all year. It'll be on May, whatever that day is.
Yay. Woohoo.
Did you see how much Tony hates the new schedule?
I hear it every year.
I hate the schedule.
Mhm.
I hate the schedule. I hate the schedule. I hate the schedule. Like, come on, man. I like it as a fan. He probably just hates flying all over the place. Would I like to play the Dodgers probably more and the Giants probably more? Yeah, but I don't necessarily know if I want to play the Rockies 19 times a year. Plus, I don't think, does anybody really value division opponents as much as baseball does? I guess the NFL. Does anybody know they have divisions in the NBA? Or the NHL? Like, how many times the Lakers win the division, they're like hanging divisional banners? Anybody hang divisional banners in the NBA? Does anybody care?
No.
I think it's okay.
By the way, I don't have it in the sports thread, but Josh Hart last night as the Knicks went up 2-0 really
Does not like analytics.
angered MLB people last night. He said during his post game, because they asked him about analytics during his post game, he said that analytics are like a lamppost to drunk people. It'll hold you up, but it won't walk you home.
It was so bad. It was a conversation on the analytics show on MLB Network, which is MLB Central. Brian Kenny had to have had just an absolute meltdown on television. He had to have had a meltdown on television. He was putting Josh Hart through the shredder probably on MLB Central.
His face was all red, his hair standing on end like Heat Miser. He was angry.
He's Mr. Heat Miser. He's Mr. Sun. Don't get me started on that. Why did you do that? Don't mention the Heat or the Snow Miser ever. I'm going to start breaking out in song.
I didn't mean to.
One of the best Rankin Bass movies that are out there.
100%.
He's Mr. Heat Miser. He's Mr. Sun.
That's cool.
He's Mr. 101.
Gotcha.
All right. You did that to yourself.
I didn't.
You did that to yourself.
I now know not to do it again.
Yeah. It's a foul out Friday. It's fine.
It's a foul out Friday before a 3-day weekend.
Yeah. We're sprinting to fouls. Give me a foul. I'll take one.
He draws the foul.
Get him to the line.
Second show foul, boys.
That's right.
4 more. We're out of here.
See Eric Hosmer on Tuesday. All right. Let's talk about the... we had, if you want to call in the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we talk about trades, this might be one of the first trades that's not totally that bad for the Padres because of how great Mason Miller was. And I mean, like, great for the Padres. I mean, like, you don't get as many people complaining about it as much as the other trades that have happened in the past. And I want to say, like, there was, in the YouTube chat, somebody was talking about the A's, and it's like, look, the A's don't have to spend that much money to be a playoff caliber team, just like, the Padres are spending all this money. The A's are 2 games above 500 in one of the worst divisions in baseball. They happen to be in first place with a -4 run differential.
Well, they won last night?
They did. They've won 3 in a row. They're playing the Angels, dude.
No, they were down 2-0. So
they're playing the Angels.
I assumed incorrectly.
I think that game went to extras.
It did. It went to 10.
They tried to, in the 10th inning, the Angels had a inning double play potentially, and Adam Frazier got the ball stuck in his glove. Extended the inning. A's ended up winning. It's the Angels. The Angels now are 17-34. They are the worst team in baseball. The Rockies, only 2 games better than that. 17-34. They were 1-9 in the last 10. If you see the team, see those guys waving the shirts? I mean, everybody's copping Oklahoma State now.
Tarps off.
Doing the tarps off. They're sell the team. Already sucks. All that stuff. They asked Mike Trout about that yesterday. He said, I'm pretty sure he said he saw them and he's acknowledged it. He's like, I've been hearing that for 10 years. It's not wrong.
You are liked by your own family, probably.
Unbelievable. We were talking about some of the trade rumors. Let's talk about the trade that happened last year. The big one, the Padres and the A's. Of course, Mason Miller, 6'5" right-hander, had struggled with injuries in the past. Shoulder trouble limited him to 6 starts in his first full pro season. Elbow issues after 4 MLB starts as a starter. And the Athletics transitioned him to the bullpen in 2023. Despite initial hesitation, he had only known starting throughout college and early pro ball. He has thrived in relief. Since 2023, Mason Miller, no pitcher has thrown more 102-plus mile-an-hour fastballs, and he's one of only 5 to hit 104-plus. His slider has become one of baseball's most valuable pitches. Let's talk about the trade. At the 2025 MLB trade deadline, the Padres acquired Miller from the Athletics. In return, the A's received top prospect Leo DeVries, switch-hitting shortstop, signed for $4.2 million in 2024 international class, plus left-hander J.P. Sears and right-hander Braden, Henry Baez, Eduardo Nunez. So Padres got J.P. Sears and Mason Miller, and the A's got a plethora of young potential players, potential great players. DeVries is now 19. He's ranked number 2. He's the number 2 prospect in baseball by both Baseball America and MLB.com. He has shown significant power, 11 home runs in 2024 at low A, 15 in 2025, 5 already in 2026 at double A as the league's youngest player. Padres viewed Miller as a proven high upside closer under control through 2029. And manager Craig Stammen, former special assistant, defended the deal, noting that established major leaguers with proven success are more predictable than even top prospects. So far as a Padre, Miller has been exceptional. 15 for 15 in save opportunities, 1 off the MLB lead. Set a Padres franchise scoreless streak of 34 2/3 innings. MLB best stats in 2026, 51.7% strikeout rate, 0.97 expected ERA, 0.95 expected batting average, 52.4% whiff rate, 81.7 mile an hour average exit velo, and a 12.1% hard hit rate. He anchors the Padres' victory formation. San Diego is 21-1 when leading after 7 innings and 22-0 after 8. He's been a key contributor in the playoffs, too. He had 8 strikeouts and 2 2/3 scoreless innings in the wild card play as well as international play. His addition has made an already strong Padres bullpen with pieces like Morejon, Adam, arguably the best in baseball, offsetting the bottom-tier offense and a rotation that ranks 25th in innings pitched. Now, obviously, this is unsustainable, but when you look at what the trade was, the Padres are definitely benefiting from this. We'll talk more about the benefits of this trade as we take a look back 9 months ago as the Padres get ready to play the A's when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Looking back at the Mason Miller trade from 9 months ago, as the Padres get ready to take on the A's today. Now, the Padres have historically now in the last, how many years have we seen AJ Preller acquire elite bullpen arms? Acquired Josh Hader in 2022. He acquired, he required, He required Jason Adam, and what was the who's the lefty for the Dodgers now?
Tanner Scott.
I was like so focused on calling him Travis Scott, which I know is not the case. That would have been sick, though. Could you imagine Travis Scott coming out of the bullpen for the Padres? Place be bumping.
That would have been cool. Right up until he threw his first pitch.
You know what?
Then it might not have been as cool.
That 3-batter minimum would have been rough. Has anybody seen Travis Scott throw out a first pitch?
No.
Guy's from Houston.
Okay.
Well, now you got to grow up playing a little bit of baseball, maybe. Texas. If it's anything like any other rappers we've seen throw out a first pitch, though, that might have been rough.
Forget about that.
Could you imagine, though, like Travis Scott comes out, he starts doing a concert on the mound? You'd be like, what? What's going on? Tanner Scott.
Savannah Bananas game has broken out in my
what is
Major League
this?
Baseball game. What is going on?
Me and my friends be texting, this isn't baseball. All upset.
Good news is, for the listeners listening in their cars or watching at home, or in Jake Waters' case, in Salt Lake City, you cannot tell that this is a Friday show before a 3-day
Hey, you know
weekend.
what? I'm just saying, that would be sick. Sicko mode entrance would be tough. It would be sweet. Anyway, Tanner Scott and Jason Adam in 2024, and then they acquired Mason Miller last year. And before that, Trevor Rosenthal, he acquired. They have acquired a lot of great bullpen arms on these playoff runs. And talks of returning Miller to the rotation this past offseason gained little traction because he's been healthy and dominant in short bursts. Miller himself said converting back doesn't make sense. But when you look at this trade from last year, and I know Leo DeVries is still coming up through the ranks, I think the Padres have gotten everything and more out of acquiring a guy like Mason Miller.
You were looking for immediate impact out of Mason Miller, and while it did not, we talked about with getting Tarek Skubal, if he can get you to a World Series, that makes the trade worth it. You didn't have that type of expectation on Mason Miller because you knew you were going to have him for multiple years with the way his contract was looking. So with that, knowing that and the way he pitched, the fact that the offense and the rest of the team couldn't get it done in the wild card series, he threw himself onto a national stage. He was already pretty well known nationally, but with what he did in the playoffs last year, he forced himself onto a national stage. And this year, he's only elevated that. So, yeah, it has been well worth it for the short-term, immediate gain that you made that trade for. It has been more than worth it.
The other thing, too, is the whole standpoint of like, so last year, the Padres already had a pretty good bullpen. They got lucky in the sense that they acquired Mason Miller right before Jason Adam ended up getting hurt. I mean, if they didn't make that move, they would have been a world of hurt. But on top of the fact that they replaced their closer with a new one because Robert Suarez's contract was up at the end of the season. And so with his contract being up at the end of the season, Robert Suarez and him getting probably a payday, to get a guy like Mason Miller who you have control of until 2030 for his prime years of age 26 through for the next 4, whatever it is, and you're paying him $4 million. I mean, bullpen arms are never going to make as much as like starting pitchers. Like it's like he's going to pay. You're going to have to pay $30 million for him. But when you got Mason Miller for basically half the price of what you would have to pay for Robert Suarez, and probably like even less than that, and you probably upgraded. I mean, I'd rather have Mason Miller than Robert Suarez. I don't know about you, but I would. I think most teams would.
I don't even think
that's a huge win.
I don't think Robert Suarez is currently the closer.
No, Raisel Iglesias is, because he's been the guy. Raisel Iglesias is a free agent at the end of the year, though. And then you get to Robert Suarez, who is their setup guy. Robert Suarez is getting $13 million, $16 million, $16 million for Atlanta. He's 35. He's getting 35, 36, 37. I would much rather have the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30-year-old for around 4 or 5, maybe up to $8 million by the time it's all said and done. That seems a lot better than having Robert Suarez for $13 million, $16 million, $16 million, and $15 million towards the luxury tax, Frank, doesn't it? That adds to the benefit of this trade. And I know it's a good trade because, we've heard from a lot of negative, like a lot of the negative doomer Padre fans about the Juan Soto trades, although we haven't seen too much of a peep out of them recently, not with Michael King and Randy Vasquez. But at the beginning, you heard a lot of complaints of like, what do you need Mason Miller for? The fact that you had him for years of control, the fact that he is the best closer in all of Major League Baseball, the fact that it solidifies your bullpen for a long period of time, and the fact that he has been absolutely almost unhittable for most of his tenure with the Padres already. This trade looks better and better by the day. And here's the other thing, too. I think the trade benefits both teams because Mason Miller fits the Padres timeline and Leo DeVries fits the A's timeline. The A's are not trying to compete. Now, this is the beginning part, right? They're in first place right now. They got a young core. Leo DeVries could be helping that young core as they open up a ballpark in Vegas. So I think this is a trade that eventually is going to help both teams out. And, when you look down the road, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, and at that point, Mason Miller's near the end of his career or not playing anymore, and Leo DeVries might be in his prime of his career. I know people are going to be like, we could have had this guy instead, but he's not helping you over the course of the next 2 to 3 years when you traded him. He's not.
No.
And that's what you're looking for is the window now during the time frame of Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people do miss is that, it is nice to have a lot of these guys, but you also need to have them at a time in their careers where they can help you out the most. You're not just trying to get people into the ballpark and try to hoard good players. You want them to be able to help you in a meaningful time. So if you look at Leo DeVries, when he comes up and when he starts to really become impactful, is at the back end of Manny's career. It's at the back end of Bogart's career. Jackson Merrill will be the elder statesman on the team. Fernando is going to be towards the back end of his contract, which at that point, your window is more or less closed, and you're looking at potentially doing what the Houston Astros are doing right now, trying to offload some of these contracts. So it's not just about the player, it's also about the timing, about when these guys do come up.
Right. And I disagree with, somebody in the YouTube chat that says the back end already of Manny Machado's career.
No,
It's still in the middle to back end, but
he's on the downslope for sure, but it's not the back end of his career.
Back end.
This is peaked already.
Right.
So.
This is not the end of the Adrian Beltre era in Texas. But at the same time, Adrian Beltre at his last couple of years were amazing. He was still putting up really good numbers. So if Adrian Beltre could do it, is he that much better than Manny Machado? Maybe. I don't know. Adrian Beltre is in the Hall of Fame. Adrian Beltre at age 39 still hit 273. Adrian Beltre at 38 hit 312 with a 132 OPS plus and a 915 OPS. I mean, Adrian Beltre in his late 30s was still putting up pretty impressive numbers for the Texas Rangers. And by the way, he was an all-star for the Rangers in 2014 at age 35. So I think a lot of people have just seen some guys fall off a little bit and they just don't want it to happen. Or maybe they almost really want it to happen because they like being miserable, Frank. I mean, at this point, Manny's 33? Adrian Beltre was putting up big seasons every year, 33 to 39. So it's not impossible. And I don't think Manny's getting to that point. And I don't think, do you think Adrian Beltre was a better player in his first decade in Major League Baseball than Manny? I think it's an interesting comparison. But that's a guy that's expected to be a Hall of Famer. With the accolades that Manny Machado has, he's on a Hall of Fame path. This is a Hall of Fame third baseman. And at age 39, he was still contributing to the Texas Rangers. So it's not, this is not going to be a drastic spin-off, fall off where he's going to hit $120 every year for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Future Hall of Famers don't do that. They don't. So unless you think that was just a fluke for his first part of his career, maybe. But I just don't think that's the case.
The first half of Manny's career, the entirety of the first half was a fluke. This is the real Manny Machado.
This is the real.
Here.
He's just old now, and he's never going to be able to hit again because he's 33, about to be 34. It's whatever. I feel like people they see what the doom is of every situation for the Padres, of what the worst possible outcome could be, and they start to root for it so they can complain about the worst possible outcome. So, I mean, he's going to turn 34 midway through this season. It's come on. Adrian Beltre was an all-star at age 35. Still putting up good numbers. Are you going to get the 28-year-old version of Manny Machado? Probably not. But at the same time, we can't sit here and be look, this is a player that's just going to be awful for the next 5, 6, 7 years. That's not a guarantee. Not in this day and age of baseball. So and the other thing too with some of these contracts is this is what you have to pay to get stars. You can't just have all the stars when they're young and you're not paying any money. This is what you have to do to pay some of these stars. Yeah, the last year probably won't be great of Manny Machado, but at the same time, you can start looking at other comparable players to Manny and where their careers planned out. They're not all falling off a cliff at age 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. So just because some mid to late 30-year-olds can't play anymore, those are usually not the guys that had the beginning of a career like Manny Machado did. And it's interesting that this gets brought up because we're going to talk about this later on about are these stars struggling or declining. I think you can see some slight decline, but I mean, you start looking at some other guys in Major League Baseball that have had the pedigree of Manny Machado, Frank. Those guys don't really fall off the face of the earth when it comes to being a baseball player in their mid to late 30s. So I just feel like now we just get so used to 19 and 20-year-olds doing so well that once you turn 31, your career's over. Players have time and time again proven that wrong.
We need $300 million worth of stats. We can't sign anyone because of these bad contracts. Lubby, this is Manny Machado in his career with San Diego. He has a 27 WAR in 1,015 games, 201 home runs, 653 RBIs. He's got a batting average of 271 an OPS of 816. His OPS plus is 124. 1,049 hits, 190 doubles. I'm in 4,317 plate appearances. I think that's $300 million worth of stats over the life of the contract, for sure.
The other thing, too, that people don't understand, you pay guys like this $300 million for more than just stats. It's also a business. And like I said before, the way that this team is now, it's selling out Petco Park. It's got big names on the roster. It's winning games. They've made the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years. They don't do that without Manny Machado and names. They don't.
Manny Machado was an all-star last year. He's been an all-star 3 of the 7 years that he has been here. And in his time here, he has not had a WAR below 2.5.
Correct.
With a high of 6.8 back in 2022. Last year, his WAR was 4.1.
I feel like this is the time of the season where it's like he's not playing super well, and he needs to be better. I agree. But it turns into like,
wow,
sucks.
Great.
It's like, wow.
Wow, great back of the baseball card. He was supposed to bring us a championship. How many players in Major League Baseball have been signed to a team with the hope of bringing them a championship? Every single one. Every single one of them. That's not an argument. Stop moving the goalposts.
Just to prove
Stop it.
It's so forced.
Every single player is signed with the hope of winning a championship.
Right. When we come back, we're going to get a preview of the A's, what to expect from the Athletics from Ken Korach, their broadcaster.
Hey.
Eleven o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show, setting us over on Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. And to start off the 11 o'clock hour, to get a little preview of this upcoming series as the Padres host the Athletics for 3 games here at Petco Park. We are joined on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it's better. From legendary broadcaster of the Athletics radio team, Ken Korach joins us on a Friday. Ken, welcome down to San Diego. I know you guys were up in Anaheim for a couple of days. Good to have you on. Hopefully you're having a good Friday.
Yeah, we are. Thank you, Braden. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
It's good to talk about the A's. It's been kind of fun to watch them over the last couple of years put together some, a very young, talented team. They're off to a pretty good start. They're in first place. Can't really complain about being in first place, but a lot of young talent for this A's team. It's coming off of 3 wins in Anaheim. What's been the biggest reason for this team to be as successful as they had in the first 50 games of the season?
Well, I'll preface by saying that they don't think they've played great yet. They feel like they have a lot better baseball ahead this year. They are 2 games over 500, as you said. They have 2 players who have gotten off to phenomenal starts, and obviously Nick Kurtz, who was the Rookie of the Year last year and has a chance to be a superstar. I don't think that's hyperbole, but there'll be a time, I think, when he'll be considered one of the top 5 players in baseball. And then Shea Langeliers is the catcher. And I think he's been the best catcher in baseball so far this year. So it starts with them. They've generally played really good defense. Their bullpen has been better, I think, than people might have expected this year. So, but they're in a division that is a muddled picture right now. But like I said, to begin this, they feel like they can play better than they've played.
They look like it too. I mean, obviously a lot of, young talent that it's very exciting for Athletics fans, to go out and watch. I mean, it's a lot of tough years mixed in there, but the A's never really take too long to really fire back and be competitive. It wasn't very long ago that they were, in the playoffs, back in the 2020, and doing a lot of damage. But I know they're encouraged by a lot of the young players. You mentioned Shea Langeliers, Nicholas Kurtz, Brent Rooker has seen some power in the lineup. Which one of these hitters or a couple of these hitters do you think Padre fans should pay the closest attention to in this series that, want to be able to take in some really good baseball, that they don't get to see all the time with the A's?
Well, I think it starts with Kurtz, and the Padres would second that. And we've joked on the air that, Nick is a left-handed hitter, that every left-hander in the opposing bullpen begins to warm up before the game even starts, because he's like a marked man, and people don't pitch to him. He's been on base 44 consecutive games now, which is the longest on base streak ongoing in baseball. So he's the one guy. Like I said, Langeliers is really good, but they have some good young players besides those 2 guys. You mentioned Rooker, 3 straight 30 home run seasons. He's been an all-star for 2 years. Jeff McNeil, who you guys, I think, are pretty familiar with from his time with the Mets, won a batting title in 22 for the Mets. And he's been a stabilizing force as kind of the old sage, the veteran on the club. Hit a big home run 2 games ago to tie the game against the Angels in the 9th inning. playing second base, a real tough out. A kid the A's got from the Mets and signed as a non-roster invitee, minor league contract 2 years ago, Carlos Cortez, left-handed hitting outfielder who plays against right-handed starters. He's been hitting around 350 all year. So it's not just one guy. You can go around the whole diamond, and they've got, Soderstrom in left field, someone they signed to a long-term deal. So, they're waiting for Lawrence Butler to get hot. His average isn't where it will be, I think, when the season ends. So there's plenty of talent out there for sure.
Let's transition to the pitching staff. I mean, JT Ginn had a phenomenal outing not too long ago, earlier this week against the Angels. Obviously, it didn't work out for the A's in the ninth inning. That's kind of an interesting situation, right? I mean, JT Ginn's throwing a no-hitter through 8, and then you end up losing the game on just 2 hits in a row. What was he like after that game? What were the A's like with that kind of outing? I mean, they won the next 3 games, but that's a very interesting situation and a very, very interesting game to call, I would imagine.
It was a thrilling game to call. It was a stunning ending. Everybody was in shock. You could have said it was devastating, but like you said, they came back and they won the next 3 games. He handled it great. He was very mature, very philosophical about it, put it in the right context. I think he looked back on it and thought, I just pitched the best game that I've pitched in the big leagues. No hitter all the way until the 9th inning. And I think I don't want to say he took it in stride, but I think he handled it extremely well. But it was a stunning ending. One of the sidebar stories now in the postmortems is that it was a scoreless game until the 9th. And then the A's broke through and Butler got a pinch hit base hit. So that really set things up so that he at least would have the chance for the no-hitter in the bottom of the 9th.
We're talking with Ken Korach, who is the play-by-play man for the Athletics on the radio broadcast as he gets us a preview of Padres and A's coming up this weekend. And Ken, it's the first time the two teams will play each other since the big trade at the deadline last year. Mason Miller got acquired by the Padres. Big haul for the Athletics. I know a lot of them are, minor leaguers, but I'm, with a guy like Leo DeVries, I'm sure the organization is really excited to see how he develops. From your perspective, what do the A's talk about when it comes to this trade? And what was your reaction last year? And, what's your opinion on how Mason Miller has done, obviously with a lot of great young talent that's now going to be coming up to the A's that they got from the Padres?
Well, we've loved Mason from the time that he broke in with the A's. And as you guys know, and you've told the story, he has a great backstory, story of perseverance. He's a great kid, and we're thrilled for his success. I love watching him pitch. And I'm not surprised by how well he's done. He's the premier closer in baseball, and he deserves that. But I don't think the A's make the trade without the aforementioned DeVries. And so once the Padres agreed to include DeVries in the deal, I think the A's said, okay, we can make this happen. Prospects are prospects until they prove something. But DeVries was terribly impressive in spring training, and he's been red hot down in Double-A. I think he's still the youngest position player in the Texas League. In his last 6 games, he's 13 for 22 down there. So I think that there's a real chance that this is going to turn out to be a very good trade for both teams.
We were just talking about that on the air. I mean, the different windows for maybe the Padres and the Athletics, but it seems like Leo DeVries really fits the timeline for the Athletics, but might be a little bit early on terms of their overall rebuild, if you will. But they've done a pretty good job. You know it, you've seen it. But for a lot of Padres fans who may haven't watched the A's a lot this season, they see the record, they see that they're in first place, and they might go, well, they're benefiting from a poor division. What's the biggest misconception about this club right now, and why are they leading the American League West?
Well, I should preface by saying that they're doing this with 3 of their starters on the injured list. Denzel Clark, the sensational defensive center fielder. Jacob Wilson, that's DeVries' position, but it's going to be pretty tough to supplant Jacob from shortstop. And he's on the IL. We don't know how long it's going to be for him. And, he was the starting shortstop as a rookie in the American League last year. And then the A's Max Muncy was starting at third base. So They're doing this with 3 of those guys on the IL. Now, the guys who have filled in have done extremely well. I don't know that there's any great misconception. I will say this, that it's the first time the A's have been in first place this late in a season after 50 games since 2021. You mentioned the great run that they had, and I don't think people realize that, the A's were in the postseason in 18, 19, and 20. They made it 4 straight years beginning in 2000. So over a 2-decade stretch, they were in the postseason 11 different times. So this has been an extremely successful franchise for a long time. And my sense is if they're in the race around the time of the deadline, that they'll go out and really make some moves to try to improve the team even more.
Last thing for you, Ken, as we kind of wrap up this interview and get a preview of Padres and A's. I mean, I do like to get the perspective from other teams as well on the San Diego Padres. You only get to see them once every year, right? Which is cool with the new schedule. You do get to see every team every year. But, as a baseball fan or as a broadcaster, what's the storyline or who are the players on the Padres that you're most excited to call a game of or pass along to your audience, what the Padres might have?
Yeah, you're right. We only see them once a year, but I used to hang out in the left field seats at the Murph back, decades ago. But, well, I think one of the stories, right, is that their best hitters have not been their best hitters. So I'm real curious about that, to see Tatis and to see Machado and to see Jackson Merrill, and the fact that they have been struggling. Their bullpen is sensational. And so I think any team that plays them knows going in, when you're trailing after 6 or 7 innings, you could be in real deep trouble. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mason and seeing him pitch. And, Craig Stammen in his first year as a manager, very interesting story. And, one of the things to me about these interleague games is that you get to catch up and renew acquaintances with people in the broadcast booth. Like, the Padres broadcasters have been good friends for a long time. So that kind of aspect of it is a cool thing for me.
I do have to ask. I'm curious to know. Do you? I don't know if you would know this, or maybe you can ask about this. Mark Kotze's family still lives here in San Diego. His son plays at the high school that I coach football at. He is playing in a playoff game.
Cathedral Catholic.
Yes, at Cathedral Catholic, where I attended. And they got a playoff game tonight. I know it's at 4:00. I don't think Mark's going to be able to go, but I don't know. They're in town. Any update on if Mark Kotze is going to try to, maybe show up a little bit later at the ballpark? Is he going to stay tuned to the game? Happen. What's going on?
It's a good question. I think I was talking about this with him the other day. Do you think they might play a day game tomorrow? Isn't it possible they could play an earlier game tomorrow? That if that was the case, he might have a chance to see his son play.
I'm trying to see the schedule. Yeah.
He was talking about the chance that he might be able to see his son play on Saturday. And Kotz is great. He comes back, days off, he'll fly down here because, his family means so much to him. And his son's playing on a great team. The thing about that team is that almost every player is the son of a former major league player or a general manager, right?
Right.
I mean, that's an amazing roster they put together up there.
And Ken, I mean, just, I don't know if you realize they won their first game a couple of days ago against Ruben Niebla's son, who plays for Southwest El Centro out in the Imperial County, long little trip out. But you had, Yu Darvish's son playing, and you had, Mark Kotze's son, Xavier Nady's son. And then they were going against Ruben Niebla's son the other day. So it's pretty fun baseball out here in SoCal. Looking at the bracket, if they lose,
Ken, right?
Right. Yes.
Podesta's son is on that team too. Right.
Also, if they lose tonight, then they would play tomorrow at 11 a.m. But if they win, they wouldn't play until Tuesday. So I guess it's some give and take. If they win, great for the Dons. If they lose, well, I guess Mark can watch his son play, which is obviously very difficult.
He'll definitely. If they lose, he'll be at the game for sure, because we have a night game tomorrow out here, right? So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing for Mark and his family for sure. And he's one of the all-time great guys, as you know. And it's been very prominent in this community for years, as he will be in Vegas when the A's move to Vegas in 2028.
Yeah, pretty cool time. So, well, hopefully the Dons win, and they are able to advance. But if they don't, I guess Mark will be able to watch his son play, which would be super cool for them. Ken, I appreciate the time. Enjoy the weekend here in San Diego. Enjoy calling the ball games at Petco Park. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Ken Korach, the play-by-play man for the Athletics, joining us on the Braden Surprenant show. Again, very difficult for them to potentially, very difficult for them to be able to go to a game at 4:00 when they have batting practice and everything today. So maybe they'll put a live stream on or something like that.
I have just been informed by our wonderful guest. We were mispronouncing his name the entire time.
Korach?
Korach.
Come on. Dang it.
Oops.
Frank's going Korach the whole time. And
that's what I thought it was. That's what I always remembered hearing it. It's
Korach.
Now I will never, ever make that mistake ever again.
Nice.
Oops.
Anyway, back to the thing. Yeah, so I guess if Cathedral loses, then he'd be able to watch him play. And they could play Southwest El Centro again, potentially. Could you imagine the games in the morning, too?
That would be...
You have Ruben Diablo at the game. You have Marcotte at the game. You have Darvish at the game.
So who are you guys pitching tonight?
Yeah, that could be an interesting day. You have you could potentially have. Well, I don't know who's pitching tonight for Cathedral.
No, I'm talking about Ruben and Kotze talking back and forth. So who you guys got pitching tonight? I don't know. Who you guys think about throwing this in?
We got Darvish versus Niebla. That's what we're looking at. The A's are good. I think they're a little early. They're just like slightly early. I think they are benefiting from the division, but they got a lot of young players that are exceptional to watch. I felt bad about like the Monday. Was that Monday that JT Ginn had the no going?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, they had a no-hitter going, and then
there's a base hit in the ninth, and then the walk-off home run right after.
Base hit and a home run. You give up the no-hitter, and then you give up the game. I'm glad that JT Ginn was able to pull it off. All right, we got the Oscar Mayer Weenie 500 is about to start.
No, they're rolling. Oh, God.
Oh.
Big block move. What was that?
I don't know. It ran Seattle Dog off the road. What's a Seattle Dog? I've never heard of a Seattle Dog.
Oh, of course. It's Chicago. It's the Shy Dog getting dirty. Come on now.
You got the Chicago Dog, the Slaw Dog, the Chili Dog, the Corn Dog, the New York Dog, and Seattle Dog. Wow. The Oscar Mayer Weenie 500.
This is not to just completely undermine the interview we just did.
Well, the interview was great, except for we didn't get his name right, which is awful.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
The corn dog's got a stick sticking out of the back. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
This is why racing is amazing.
Why don't they have a Sea Dog? Yeah, they should have a Sea Dog. That'd be great.
It allows us to do nonsense like this.
What's the top speed of these things?
Probably about
65.
I
mean, they drive on the freeway. I've seen those things on the freeway. They got to go at least like 55 to 60 on the freeway.
They look so slow around. It probably feels so fast in the car or in the hot dog. But
you're right the first time. It is a car. It's not a. Although I guess it is also a hot dog. I mean, how do you pass? This is like Formula One. I guess you got to do that crazy maneuver that Shy Dog did. Poor Seattle Dog. Dead last now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. When we come back, we are going to talk about...
We have a betting line on the Weenie 500 coming up during the break. Is that a thing we got? Or
sure, if you want to put it together.
Well, no, I'm asking. Like, do you think...
I guarantee you Kalshi's got something on this right now.
Not sure if they're showing this ridiculous. Wow. I mean, that's not even close.
It ran him off the road. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about Fernando playing second base and if that's going to be a permanent move when we come back. Almost a photo finish in the Weenie 500. You kidding me? All right, so let's talk about this for a second. The Indianapolis 500s this weekend. They've been doing races in Indy for the last
they've been
3 weeks.
They've been at Indianapolis for the last month.
So they have today is the Oscar Mayer Wiener race. It's the Weenie 500, and there's 6 Oscar Mayer hot dogs racing at the Indianapolis 500 course. New York dog, chili dog, slaw dog, chai dog, Seattle dog, corn dog.
Ironically enough, that was their finishing order as well.
Yes, that is the order of the weenies. And because you're not going to be able to handle this segment, Frank, you might as well just turn your mic off before you just pass out with laughter. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're going to make it through this?
I'm happy the New York dog won.
So I was curious because like the TVs we have in the studio are obviously muted. So we went to break, and I said, I got to hear what these cars sound like. You know, like it's in NASCAR and IndyCar. These cars aren't going that fast.
Listen.
As soon as we unmuted the television,
Braden wanted to hear the 450 cc's of pure muscle and power.
As soon as we unmuted, the British announcer,
Will Buxton
goes, 6 weenies on turn 4. Unbelievable. And then, as it's going, I'm still laughing at the unfortunate time that we tuned into the broadcast in terms of the sound with the 6 weenies. He goes on to say, because the New York dog was able to hold off the chili dog for almost the photo finish at the checkerboard, at the checker line.
The 2026 Glizzy Gallop.
The Glizzy Gallop. That's a good one, Wilbur. Anyway, he goes, I've never seen a weenie more disrespected in my life. Talking about the New York dog. Pause. Phrasing?
Phrasing?
Unbelievable.
Please, somebody in the chat, please make the joke that I want to make so badly.
You can't, you're afraid to say it, aren't you?
I am, yes.
What a photo finish.
Even Indy champion Alex Palou is sitting there having the time of his life.
Our guy Crumb is dressed as a hot dog right now.
As he
the
should
Fox
be.
Game. Yeah, he's working this for Fox, and he's got a hot dog suit on, and then he posted on his Instagram story him and a bottle of ketchup, and he goes, "If you know, you know." Our audience knows. Our audience knows what you do with that ketchup, Crumb. It's not just for hot dogs, apparently. 6 weenies in the race. That had to be like, for entertainment purposes on a Friday before Memorial Day weekend, watching that at 11 o'clock in the morning. You know somebody probably bet on some app about the weenie race.
Oh, there was some degenerate for sure that bet on that. Now, this is the perfect combination of marketing, drawing ability, as in like physically being able to draw, and just pure raw entertainment.
I love that the corn dog had a stick coming out the back. that was just chef's kiss of the weenie race. Congratulations to the New York dog. Natural casings won today.
And they are thrilled to death. They are the 2 pilots of the New York dog are thrilled to death that they have won this race.
Now, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course I would be. But they are like its proudest moment of their lives.
Too many people dressed as hot dogs. Photo of the weenies. Oscar Mayer fans only. Foul on Nate.
He draws the foul.
I saw the one on
He draws the foul.
on Juan too.
On Juan?
So, yeah.
You know what? What a perfect time for this guy to call in.
Oh,
he's got
no.
a take on this.
Oh, no.
Draymond Green has showed up again.
Yeah.
Here's Dexter in Spring Valley. Dexter, what's going on? Who did you have your money on the weenie weight race?
Well, I was kind of hoping for a bacon wrap dog to represent us, but because San Diego's race is coming up next month, but that didn't happen. Now, speaking of natural casings, Frank.
Yeah.
This is going to.
Well, actually, this kind of ties in. This whole call ties into motorsports, and this particularly for. I'm surprised Frank Car Crazy didn't even mention it, but
No,
I'm
we
going to
will.
start with this. Okay, because it's a sad, the sad note that I DM'd you about. Okay, well, I'm going to go into a happy note. You ready?
Yes.
And it ties into natural casings. And I do apologize, but there's one driver this weekend who is not Kyle Larson who's going to attempt the double.
Yes.
And her name is
Catherine Legg.
Catherine Legg. So I will leave it at that. Draymond Green is back. I will take the technical. And, oh, by the way, go Padres.
That was not one of his best. Hit him with the foul, though.
He draws the foul.
Hit him with the foul. The weenie race. Amazing.
The peakest of peak content.
I think that's the first time I've ever watched that event, to be honest with you.
I don't think they ran it last year. I don't think it was on TV, but it created such a stir online that they televised it this year.
I mean, it's cool. Like you're racing the Oscar Mayer weenie mobiles. When's the last time you saw that thing?
Never.
You've never seen it? I've seen it a couple of times in San Diego.
I've seen the Planters Peanut a couple times.
I have never
out
seen
in
the
the
Planters
wild.
Peanut. I've seen like pictures of it, but I've never seen that out in the wild.
I've seen the Planters Peanut like once or twice in the wild, but I've never seen the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in the wild before.
I saw it on the 15 a couple times. How many do they have?
Well, they have at least 6.
I've never seen the corn dog one, I'll tell you that.
Not sure if the corn dog one's necessarily street legal.
Jake Waters said he saw it in Chicago like 2 days ago. Well, he's probably on his way to the race.
Yeah, might have
Probably on his way to the race. New York dog wins the Weenie 500. Take that for what it's worth. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We were distracted by the Weenie race, as often as we are. We are going to...
Phrasing?
We are going to come back and talk about whether or not Fernando Tatis Jr. will have a permanent stay at second base. We discuss next. 11:38 on a Friday before Memorial Day weekend. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, I did get, we got some shirts sent in.
There we go.
The first batch. More of them coming. We'll get those on our Shopify. We'll have a link to that on YouTube. Hopefully next week, maybe the week after. So you could buy some merch, some new Braden Surprenant Show merch. I did get the shirts, the ones that we have with the graphic tees. I'll send those to you right now if you want. These are showing up next week. So we'll get these out there to anybody that wants to buy, help support the show. I just sent them to you, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent them to your phone.
Yeah.
So you can check them out. But we got this on the YouTube on a t-shirt. Fun stuff. So we'll have those available hopefully by next week. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I do want to talk a little bit about Fernando playing second base. We need to get to the sports thread as well. Because AJ Cassaville had an article today about Fernando Tatis Jr. playing second base and hinting at he might be the everyday second baseman for the Padres. Padres may not have formally announced it, but the organization has quietly made a major philosophical shift. Fernando is now essentially the everyday second baseman. What started as a once or twice a week experiment has evolved into a near full-time defensive change because the Padres are desperately searching for more offense in the lineup. The move is less about defense and more about maximizing bats like Gavin Sheets, Miguel Andujar, Ty France, and Nick Castellanos. AJ Cassaville lays out and makes it clear it wasn't some grand long-term organizational plan. Injuries, offensive struggles, and lineup imbalance have pushed the Padres into this. We're going to take a deeper dive into this at noon, but from the situation of trying to maximize your offense, Frank, which is what our show believes in, I understand why the Padres would want to have Fernando at second because it opens up an opportunity to get productive bats into the lineup on a daily basis.
Yeah, and that's more or less what we've been seeing, especially with now the injury to Jake Cronenworth has certainly moved that along. But now when you have guys like Nick Castellanos starting to hit, Miguel Andujar can also play a little bit in the outfield, so you can sit. So you have the option of having Andujar play left, Laureano play right, and you still have all of these guys in the lineup. That's second base fits Fernando very, very well, especially since it seems as though this injury is going to this injury with Jake Cronenworth is going to linger a little bit longer than most people expected it to.
It's been a pretty long time since he was put on the injured list.
Yeah, I think it's been almost 20 days, right around there. I think it was the May 5th was when he was put on. So yeah, Monday will be 20 days.
Yeah, I just, we haven't had too many updates on him.
No,
it's just like he's been dealing with this and they're monitoring it. I mean, we've heard that from Craig Stammen. There's been some reports that he hasn't even been with the team at certain. I mean, I haven't seen him in the dugout.
No, I haven't either.
So I haven't really heard too much about Jake Cronenworth at this point. I think it's a kind of a mix of a couple of things of why Fernando has been getting a lot of reps at second base. But at this point, and again, we continue to check the same stats over and over again with some of these players.
And you've also seen that they're not like sold on the idea of him staying primarily at second base, because we've seen now multiple times Sung-Moon Song has come in at second and they've moved Fernando out to right late in the game as a defensive replacement. So it's not like the Padres have tied him to second base.
Well, I think that's a really good move for the Padres in general.
Agreed. Yes.
Because look, here's how I view it. If you want to get the 9 best hitters in the lineup for the beginning of the game, I think you should totally do that. And when you get a lead, then you can start moving things around and make it a defensive team. I think that's the best way to use all of your players. I think that's the best way to utilize the strengths that you have. I think it's the best way to keep everybody involved. And so you have Fernando start the game at second base, goes through the at-bats, so you could get Miguel Andujar in the game. You could get Gavin Sheets, Ty France, Nick Castellanos, some of the guys that have been contributing as of late, especially when you're desperately searching for consistent offense. And then once you use them for the offense, you get to the seventh inning. Now you could bring Sungmoon Song in, or you could bring Bryce Johnson in, or maybe you shift some players over and Ty France plays first base if he wasn't already starting there, and you go with the more defensive approach. I think that's the best plan of attack right now for the Padres, and we'll see what happens with Jake Cronenworth moving forward, and maybe this is a position that they address at the trade deadline, second base, but until I think you get to the second half of the year, or until this team starts hitting at a higher level, I think you're going to see Fernando at second base moving forward.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction that it looks like they're going in. So I honestly, I don't mind it. I would mind it a little bit more if Jake was here, was on the roster. But right now, this is your best opportunity. This is your best chance. This is the way you put your best team out there.
Do you want to check in on how Fernando is doing hitting it while playing in the infield?
May as well.
Hitting 333 to 777 OPS.
Cool.
How about that? Fernando's also hitting 280 with a 620 OPS when he swings at the first pitch. That was part of the roundtable yesterday. You know what he does when he does not swing at the first pitch?
Takes it.
He hits 210 with a 568, fouling you for the second foul.
Well, is that not?
He draws the foul.
We've already established that things could be true and also funny and still get a foul. That's like day one stuff on the fouls. And remember, just like basketball, they're subjective. I think that was a foul. Anyway. Zonder in the YouTube chat wants to know when we're going to get the Torero color Braden Surprenant show shirts. Might be for OTL. Stay tuned, Zonder. But if I'm making those, I'm also making the TCU colored ones for OTL. As a purple and light blue might be out there. Don's too. Hey, possible. I also want to mention, because I brought this up on the round table too, what he does on the first pitch. First pitch, 37 plate appearances, right? He's hitting 389 with an 861 OPS. Everybody that says, so here's the deal. The result, when I said swung at first pitch, those are the results that are the ultimate outcome of the at bat, whether it's on the first pitch or later. So if he swings at the first pitch and he misses it, that's also included if he hits the ball. So that's why his numbers for swung at first pitch are 280 with a 620 OPS. If he makes contact with the first pitch, right, on the count balls and strikes on Baseball Reference, swinging at first pitch, when he puts that ball in play, he's 14 for 36. It's a 389 average with a 472 slug, gives him an 861 OPS with 4 RBIs. You know what his OPS plus is for that? 195. I'm just saying, like, everybody, like, how many times do we get old man yells at clouds? He can't, the problem that he has is he swings at the first pitch. Based on his numbers, I kind of want him to swing at the first pitch right now. That's his highest OPS he has, aside from swinging at a 3-1 pitch. And it's not even that close. I don't know, Frank. When you look at those numbers, hitting the first pitch, when he gets the first pitch, he puts that ball in play. He hits 389 with 861 OPS. Would you tell that guy to not swing at the first pitch?
Swing away, son.
Yeah, go ahead. It's unfortunate he swung at the slider away. But you know what? He's had better opportunities. And when you're looking for some type of power or slug, well, look no further than swinging at the first pitch if you're Fernando. Stats back it up. We need to get to today's sports thread. What's going on in the sports world?
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on today?
We got a very NFL heavy sports thread, but first we'll start off with the news that broke after our show yesterday. The sports world was stunned yesterday by the death of Kyle Busch at the age of 41 after what NASCAR described as a severe illness. Busch, a 2-time Cup Series champion and the winningest driver in NASCAR in the NASCAR National Series history, with 234 combined victories among the top 3 series, was widely considered one of the most talented and polarizing drivers the sport has ever seen. Known as Rowdy for his aggressive style and fiery personality, Busch built a Hall of Fame career with a championship in 2015 and in 2019, while becoming a fan favorite and one of the defining figures of the modern era of NASCAR. Tributes poured in from across motorsports, with drivers, teams, and legends remembering not only his unmatched competitiveness, but also his devotion to his wife, Samantha, and his children, Brexton and Lennox. Brexton, by the way, a racer in his own right, just turned 11 3 days ago. NASCAR says on Sunday's Coke 600 will be held as scheduled, as well as all the other races this week. But the racing world and the sports world in general is mourning the loss of one of the greatest drivers to ever do it. And that was a hard one. That was, for those of you who are old enough to remember what happened on February 18th of 2021, this is 2001. This is this generation's Dale Earnhardt gone.
This is this is something that I got a notification for yesterday, and I'm at practice, and I kind of briefly look at it. I'm like, oh, NASCAR driver passed away, but it made it, the way I read it made it seem like some veteran NASCAR driver that was, up there in age and everything like that. And then I read it again. I was like, did that say Kyle Busch? It was shocking news. And, it obviously wasn't in a race. But he passes away at age 41, which is, so young. And life is just, it's so precious. 41 years old, and that's it.
And
he won, as you mentioned, he won the Truck Series.
He won the Truck Series race last Friday.
Friday. He felt ill. He told his crew, I need to see a doctor. And then 10 days later, he passes away. So obviously gut-wrenching for the NASCAR community, obviously gut-wrenching for the Busch family, right? And obviously, thoughts and prayers to the Busch family and to Joe Gibbs Racing and to the NASCAR community for what is a very tragic story and a very sad story.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And now, because there's absolutely no good way to transition from that, we're just going to go and jump right in.
Number 2.
The Giants are committing to stability in agreeing to a multi-year contract extension with general manager Joe Shin after pairing him with new head coach John Harbaugh this offseason. Despite a rough overall record during Shin's tenure and criticism surrounding moves like letting Saquon Barkley leave for Philadelphia, Giants ownership believes that the organization is finally moving in the right direction with improved roster building, a revamped offensive line, star receiver Malik Neighbors, who now, by the way, has a knee injury that no one knows when he'll recover from, and hope that rookie quarterback Jackson Dart can become the franchise's long-term answer. The extension signals that ownership values continuity and believes that Schoen and Harbaugh can finally turn the Giants back into contenders. Are the Giants smart to stay patient and build around Joe and John, or are they rewarding a front office that still has not produced enough wins?
With Joe Schoen, I don't know why they kept him into this. Like if you're going to go with the Harbaugh approach, why didn't they just clean house and just start over? That to me is where you're at. Did Jackson Dart save Joe Shane at this point? Is that the save of the century for Joe Shane as a general manager of the New York Giants?
I don't know how you can more or less just completely ignore and go over the head of a guy who's supposed to be the decision maker and then extend him to a contract. How do you do that? He's a puppet. You've extended a puppet.
I mean, his son was making better picks than he was.
Yes.
His son's like 12. His son kept telling him to draft Jaden Daniels in the first year, like in the draft. When you watch Hard Knocks, the offseason Hard Knocks, but you look at Joe Shane's draft class. I mean,
you have one chance at this. You may as well go for it.
His first round picks are Kayvon Thibodeau, Deontay Banks, Malik Neighbors, who's been solid. I mean, he's had a knee issue. Abdul Carter, and then he just drafted Arvell Reese. I mean, they got Jackson Dart last year. The draft last year was a lot better than it was the year before, but I don't know what they have done. I mean, the Giants have been slightly better than the Jets. I mean, but they have been
haven't.
They've been just as embarrassing as the New York Jets. I don't know how you can give him a contract extension.
Stupid.
Richard and Hillcrest, Vincent Chula Vista will get to you when we start the noon hour talking Padres baseball. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant here on a Friday going into Memorial Day weekend the next couple of hours.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Good to be all with you going into the holiday weekend, if you will. We appreciate you guys making our day a part of yours. All right, let's get to we're going to talk more about this Fernando Tatis Jr. at second base thing. We kind of touched on it, but didn't really dive into it. I do want to get to your phone calls too. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Richard in Hillcrest. You're starting off the noon hour. What's going on, Richard?
Hey, guys. Happy Friar Friday.
Happy Friar Friday. Hopefully the Padres do well against the Athletics this weekend.
There you go. Hey, listen, a couple points I'd like to make. First of all, I like the move of Fernando going to second base. We need offense. We're not scoring any runs. So if you can get as many bats out there that can swing the bat, maybe hit the ball, get some runs in, that's what we need. So it's a good move. Defensively, he doesn't hurt you at second base. Similar to what Mookie Betts did with the Dodgers, going from right field to shortstop, was a good move for them as well. So I like that move. I think it's a good move. I'd like to see Ty France play a little more too. I like his bat. And I've always liked him as a Padre. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're not the first guy this week, Richard, to talk about Ty France maybe getting some more playing time. And I think the only way you're able to do that is by having Fernando play second base, because you need to find other areas to get guys in the game. So if Ty France is going to play first base, that means Gavin Sheets either needs a DH or play in the outfield. In order to play in the outfield, you're going to need somebody else to play. You're going to need an outfielder not playing the outfield, and you're not going to not start Ramon Laureano or Jackson Merrill Fernando. So you move Fernando to second. All of a sudden, it opens up the door for more of these guys to get opportunities with the stick. And I think that's the proper course of action for the San Diego Padres. And I think it's a way to really utilize a lot of your players and be able to get the best offense possible. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Vince in Chula Vista. Vince, what's going on?
Hey, boys. Happy Memorial Day weekend, and my best to the families out there for those military members who gave all. So happy Memorial Day. So over to the whole Tatty discussion, right? And the statistics, Braden, that you were throwing out, it reminded me of that saying, right? That there are lies, there are damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? So we can interpret them a number of different ways. The opposition knows it as well. So what do we think Fernando's now going to get on a first pitch? He's going to get a sweeper. He'll get a slider away and down. He'll get a fastball up and in to get him off the plate, but he'll get nothing in the zone. And so, man, this is the analysis of this is making it so damn hard. And something's just, and I have no clue what it is, but something is not right, obviously, with Fernando. Everything is down. There's nothing coming up. And you know what? Grip it and rip it would be the advice that I wouldn't get in the kid's head and have him, well, we want you swinging on every first pitch, or we need you to be doing, if you run the statistics by him, it more than likely now it's just completely saturated inside of him. And we know what it's going to take. It's going to take one. It's going to take one. And then it leads to the next. Look at Schwarber. Schwarber was ice cold until he wasn't. and it just took that one to get him off the schneid. And then the last thing here, it's just not Fernando. The top of the order is a wasteland. We need Jackson Merrill to do his thing. We need Manny to do his thing in clutch situations, right? That's where it really needs to start to rebound, because really, as you look at it, yeah, they've got success, but it's a teetering success. It cannot keep this up in any sustainable fashion. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for always having me in. I appreciate you. And please enjoy the long weekend. Go Padres.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it. When it comes to Fernando and the like, obviously, sometimes it's paralysis by analysis, and so you don't want to give guys too much information. And I wouldn't go out there and tell Fernando start swinging first pitch, but I will justify the fact that if he does swing at first pitch, I don't want to hear people complain that he swings at the first pitch when he's actually doing a lot of damage on the first pitch. Talk about statistics again. Last 4 games for Fernando, hitting 300. How about that? He's on a 4-game hitting streak. Maybe he can continue that. Maybe it's the start of something new. We aren't going to try to answer those questions because we don't have answers for this. I don't think anybody does at this point in time of why Fernando's not hitting the ball over the fence. Yes, there are discussions, and we've had these discussions on this show weeks ago about his swing path and everything like that. And maybe we run the numbers again, over the weekend, and we could figure out if he's making any improvements there. But as of right now, you got to let him play his way out of this. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Steve in Carlsbad. Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, Braden, good to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
First of all, man, you've taken the ball and run with it since you've gotten this show. It's just so great to listen to your content, and then the fact that you take calls. It's an anomaly at this point in time, and I just enjoy it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We try to keep it as entertaining as possible throughout the day, and we're just two guys that have fun talking sports. That's what we want to make the show about.
A young kid doing it old school way. I would love it. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about Fernando, and now I've heard the call before me and this and that. And I don't want to pile on, but what really gives me, is the fact that with the third game with the Dodgers, he comes up to bat, one out, base is loaded, and he swings at the first pitch, which is low and outside breaking ball. I mean, what's he thinking as a professional baseball player? I mean, I would know when I go up to bat in that situation, I'm looking for something, but I'm not looking for that kind of pitch. And he should have the discipline to lay off it and realize, it's 0-0. He doesn't have any balls or strikes. He should wait for a pitch he can at least lift to the outfield and score a run like that. So I think his baseball IQ in the batting box has been real suspect.
Well, that particular at bat, Steve, and I agree with you, and I appreciate the phone call and, of course, all the nice words. That particular at bat, what's frustrating even more so is they walked Fermin right in front of him. And so him having a better approach at the plate, I think in that at bat would have been a lot better of not, looking for his pitch. And I think at this point, I don't want to make excuses for him, but there's a reason why that slider away and sweeper away is a nasty combo, and it gets a lot of guys in baseball. You want to know why it does? Because it looks like a fastball out of the hands, and it looks like it's going to just sit there, and it looks like his pitch, and then it disappears, which is a good pitch. But at the same time, I agree in the sense of in that particular situation, the baseball IQ is let's make this guy throw a strike right now. He just walked Fermin right in front of me. And so with that kind of approach and waiting for your good pitch or maybe fouling off other pitches, I think that leads to pitchers making mistakes and then being able to, and then you're going to get that ball you're looking for across the plate. I mean, when I look at the way Fernando goes about things. I also think going into right now this stretch season, I think he is pressing his way to a point where he's over trying to get himself out of this jam. Instead of sticking to the basics and trying to take it one at bat at a time, it looks like he's pressing a little bit. And Frank, I think Steve brings up a good point, but it looks like in that particular instance, that looks like a guy that is tired of not hitting a home run and trying to pull everything, including pitches outside.
Yeah, he knows he's not happy about what is happening right now and how he's performing. So he's trying to press. He's trying to just finally. He's coming up with that thought of, if I finally just rip one, everyone will leave me alone now. And it's starting to frustrate him. It's starting to pile on him. And he is, like I said yesterday, he is more fed up with this than you are. I promise you.
He's more fed up with this than I am talking about this. And by the way, we're a sports talk show. We're talking about the biggest things that are happening for our particular team here in Southern California, here in San Diego, the San Diego Padres. And that biggest storyline is Fernando. So unfortunately, we have to continue to talk about it. I know I'm fed up talking about it. I know you are, Frank. I know the morning show is. I know the afternoon show is. And unfortunately, all of us being fed up talking about it and fed up watching it, we're just going to all have to be patient and wait for it to happen. That's literally where we're at right now. We have to literally wait for Fernando to just have it magically happen, which, by the way, nobody loves hearing that. That's not really a solution too much. When things are going wrong, it's really not a solution. We did get a message on the YouTube chat. Why are they playing Tatis at second base instead of Song? Wouldn't we be stronger defensively with Toddy and Wright and Song at second? Or am I crazy? You are right, but they're not looking for the strongest defense. They're looking for the best offense. We talked about that right before you tuned in. Tricky T. So, and I agree with that too. To me, if right now, I'm trying to create as much offense as possible for this team. If that sacrifices defense, so be it, because they got to get the offense going if they want to win in October. They're not going to be winning with just defense because they don't have the elite pitching from the starting rotation that can lead to pitching and defense. But if you look at the World Series winners over the last 20 years, yes, they have really good pitching, but they all are top 10 in hitting. If not even higher, like top 8, top 5. So, hitting and pitching is what wins a lot in the postseason. I know a lot of people say pitching and defense, but if I had to pick out of the 3 areas of baseball, we've said this on the show multiple times, that I want to be good because one's got to be bad. I'm taking pitching, and then I'm taking hitting, and defense will be the last thing that I have. So, they're going with an offensive approach, Frank. I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. But, with Fernando, I think that particular spot is a tough spot for him to swing first pitch, especially after they walked Fermin, who had been struggling in front of him.
Yeah, there is a time and place for everything. And yes, while statistically he has been better swinging at the first pitch, you have to understand the situation. And when it's bases loaded, you get the guy in front of you just walked. That's a time where you see a couple of pitches. So yes, while you want him to swing first pitch because his numbers show that he's better at swinging first pitch, there's always exceptions to the rule, and that scenario is that exception.
Since we have a little bit of time, we're talking about Fernando. Let's continue the conversation about him being the everyday second baseman right now. I mean, Tatis has started at second base 5 consecutive games against the Dodgers. Well, what he did against the Dodgers. He has now started second 8 of the last 9 games, and the Padres have effectively transitioned him from platinum glove right fielder to regular infielder again. The interesting part, of course, is the move happened gradually over time. There was no Fernando is our now second baseman. It simply just evolved out of necessity. Remember when they first did it, everyone's like, is he playing second?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hey, he's playing a little bit more second. And then now it's come to a point where when you see the lineup, you almost expect him to be playing second more than him to be playing right field. And honestly, I think AJ Cassavell's onto something. He has played himself into the everyday second baseman right now. I don't think it's that big of a question. If you had to fill out a lineup card, you're probably putting him at second more than you're putting him at right field right now. Because you want the offense to go a little bit. Now, why did the Padres make the move? Originally, they did it because, well, a couple of things. One, Jake Cronenworth's struggles opened the door to potentially get some type of production at second base. He struggled offensively, and then he eventually landed on the injured list with a concussion. Initially, Tatis moved around occasionally, but the Padres platooned Cronenworth with right-handed corner bats, and the goal was lineup flexibility. But once Cronenworth got hurt, the Padres faced the roster construction plan, which led to getting more bats in the lineup. But unfortunately for the Padres, which is actually fortunate at the same time, they suddenly have too many useful corner bats. Padres have recently gotten strong offensive production from Sheets, Andujar, France, and Castellanos. That is the corner infield and outfield spots. The Padres believe they need these bats in the lineup right now because their stars aren't producing enough offense. I agree with that, and that includes Tatis himself. But in order to do this, you have to move guys around to fit those four in the lineup every day because they all play basically the same position. So the Padres are sacrificing elite defense in right field because they have no choice offensively. And you know what? As much as Fernando has not been the platinum glove second baseman, he's been solid at second base. He had a couple of throwing errors, but according to infield coach Ryan Goins, Tatis double play turns have improved. He's more comfortable around the bag. His range is beginning to show up, and athleticism allows him to make other plays that others can't. They are losing a big part of right field and the defense in right field, but they're trying to score more runs, and therefore I think they're going to continue to roll Fernando out there at second base. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to do that until they get to the deadline where they could potentially address that situation. That's how I view the second base situation for the Padres, because if Andujar and Sheets and France and Castellanos all continue to hit as they have the last couple of weeks, they have to be in the lineup every single day. And the only way you can get these guys in the lineup every single day is by moving Fernando to second base. They have already said that they don't see Ty France as a second baseman. They're not going to put him there. So, because we got a comment on that in the YouTube chat. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Are these stars struggling, or are they starting to decline? We briefly talked about this at the beginning part of our show. We'll take a deeper dive when we come back. 12:23 on a Friday. Head into a Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, you guys all have a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend. And remember why we are having Monday off. We will be off on Monday. All of our shows will be off on Monday. But we do have Padres baseball on Monday against the Phillies. Padres welcome the Phillies to town. We have tickets to give away in the next hour for Padres and Phillies, which will be a trivia question. If you call in and are the first to answer the trivia question correctly in the 1 o'clock hour, you will win tickets to Padres and Phillies on Memorial Day. I think the game's a 3 o'clock start, right?
I believe so. And I just found out, we just got an email about not even 10 minutes ago that next week's giveaway, we will be doing a regular ticket giveaway next week. Tuesday through Friday will be a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair.
The San Diego County Fair.
Which we're going to have to do kind of early on Wednesday since we'll be at the loft.
Does anybody call it the San Diego County Fair?
The email did.
I know. I'm talking about the local San Diegans. That's always like the Del Mar Fair to me. Growing up here, it was always like the Del Mar Fair. I know it's like probably officially called the San Diego County Fair. So I'm sure for those purposes it's like that, but I've always known it as the Del Mar Fair. I've always been the Del Mar Fair person. Anyway. You like going to the fair?
Yeah,
I enjoy the fair.
I haven't had the greatest time at the fair.
Huh?
I haven't had the greatest experiences at the fair, and I will not be delving into those on air.
Oh, no. Are these bad dates or something?
No.
Are you like the monkey and Indiana Jones? Bad dates?
Like I said, I'm not that. I'll discuss many things on air. That's not one of them.
Oh, my God. I didn't know you didn't like the Del Mar Fair.
Well, no, it's not bad. It's not like a ridiculous. It's not like something traumatic.
Did one of those rides that people set up right before you put it on where they collapse or something?
Nothing like that.
You're making this bigger now because now everybody in the YouTube chat wants to play therapist for no reason.
It's nothing like that. Don't worry. I made sure all of the bolts were on the Ferris wheel before I went on it. Yes.
I like the fair. I can't tell you the last time I've gone. The last time I went, off the top of my head, it's probably not too long ago, summer-wise. My mom loves the fair. She uses her birthday as an excuse to get my dad to go to the fair. Because you can't say no. Right? You can't say no. If it's somebody's birthday, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to go to the fair. It looks like we're on the fair.
Son of a gun.
Right. I love the fair. The fair should be starting soon then, I would imagine, right? What is it? Did it have the dates on there? At the Del Mar Fair, that is probably officially called the San Diego County Fair.
Once Upon a Fair is the theme this year.
That's the theme?
Yes. It goes from June 10th to July 5th.
Wow. I know it usually ends like around the 4th of July. So June 5th. No, June 10th.
June 10th to July 5th.
They have an opening ceremony. Wow. I don't think I've ever been to an opening ceremony for the fair. June 10th is a Wednesday. People like got to work or something like Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. You go to the opening ceremony. You working today? Nah, I'm going to the opening ceremony for the fair. 10:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it is the Once Upon a Fair.
This is what I like about the fair. Okay, it's the things that I have to do at the fair. I'm not a big rides guy in general. I've already talked about this on air multiple times. Not super into rides. My level of scary ride is basically, stuff that Disney has, and after that, it's not really not a big Six Flags person. I'm not a big roller coaster person. So, jumping on rides that were just physically assembled in the parking lot before by. Where mistakes could potentially be made, not necessarily on my list of things I want to do. But when I do go to the fair, the things I like about the fair, I always had to foul and trick.
He draws the foul.
He was trying to get you to lay on a sofa and discuss how things make you feel. So he gets 2 fouls.
He draws the foul.
as a kid, in order to go to the no, don't start this.
I don't know.
Well, you got to show off the casings after New York Casings won the Weenie race this today.
I just don't know, man. Like I keep wanting them to throw the ball, but every time like they ask for the ball, I just don't give it to them. I guess I want them to work for it. I man, this is puzzling.
All right. So anyway, back to the deal. Anyway, when I was a kid, we used to have to go to like the landscape displays. You know what I'm talking about? The garden displays before we could go to like the infield where like all the kids stuff was. That was like the most boring part of the fair. Now it's something I have to do. I literally have to do that now before just because it's tradition. So even if I don't go with my family, I still have to go to that. What am I looking at? I don't know. But I have to do that first. I do like checking out some of the deals that they have in some of the rooms, like the Bing Crosby Hall and all that stuff. And then I have to buy one or two absolutely disgusting, terrible for me food items and devour those. And I have to play a stupid game. And after I do about that and walk around and kind of, people watch, I've satisfied my fair appetite.
Why do you have to go to the fair to people watch?
No, that's not. Well, because when I people watch other places, I don't get to play a stupid game and eat terrible food for me. You know what's a go-to food item for me at the fair? I really like the fried garlic artichoke hearts. Whew. Those are great. Fried Oreos, always fantastic. I don't really mess with the barbecue too much out there. I have become a barbecue snob since coming back from Texas. There's not too many places that make good barbecue. It smells great at the fair, but
like a pizza snob.
Correct. Luckily for you, they have these water systems now that can kind of recreate the pizza. There's no version of that for Texas barbecue. But anyway, that's what I like to do at the fair. The game I like to play the most of the fair is when you roll the little ball up the thing and like the little horse race. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's not.
At least somebody's going to win.
It's not quite skee ball.
Correct. It's like if you go short, it's like slow and then medium, fast, and you're like trying to win a race against the other people there. Right. They got so many good fried things at the fair. They got a lot of disgusting fried things at the fair too. I know Chicken Charlie's probably coming up with some crazy concoction for people to consume on June 10th. But I digress. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to Matt and PB. Matt, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, you guys?
I'm doing well. What do you got for us today?
I wanted to say I think you're right about Del Mar Fair, and also December night. So let's not forget where our roots are from. And I'm still going with Ardith Road. But my question for you is, do you think, and I believe this is the case, if Fernando's too talented to not be successful by the end of the year, and he will turn it around? And I said this about Campy earlier this year, that it was mental. And when Campy was going to break out from that slump at the end of, I guess it was since August of last year, and he was over 30 or 28 or whatever it was, he busted out, and boy, did he bust out in a good way. So I'm really looking forward to Fernando, Manny, Merrill, all doing what they normally do on the back of their baseball cards. And I get grief from a couple of friends who say, the back of the baseball card, that means I don't respect you. I don't care. I know what these guys are capable of, and I know that they're going to get out of this slump. And for us being 8 games over 500, what a wonderful place to be in, right?
I agree, Matt. And I think you're right. I think you're onto something here. I think eventually it is going to turn for the San Diego Padres and a couple of their stars. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Do want to get to one more phone call. Gary and Escondido. Gary on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on what you guys were talking about, about 30 minutes ago, that as far as the back of Ramon Laureano's baseball card, his arm strength. And I think there was a good suggestion of putting him in right field when you have Teddy at second. And then the other one was, could you put me through that Dodger game again? It was game 2. It was 4-4. They had Pages at the plate who hit the ball to right field. Now, Fernando was playing in right field, I believe. The throw to the plate, to me, that should have been a complete throw and not hitting the cutoff man. And they had, I believe it was called for the Dodgers that was at first base, and I blinked, and all of a sudden he's running across home plate. So those two things, if you could shine some light on those two things for me, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Laureano on right wouldn't be too bad of an idea. I think it's not bad, especially if you have Castellanos and Sheets. I would rather have them on in left field. To go back to the potential play at the plate, what the problem was there, Gary, was the throw from Fernando was offline, and so it had to be cut. I agreed. If Fernando just went straight to the plate and had a good throw to the plate, it probably would have worked out in the Padres' favor. That ball started to cut up the third base line. It would have been very difficult for Fermin up the third base line to catch and tag Alex Call. And so you were going to get somewhat of the same kind of a play, either at the plate or up the line a little bit. Sungmoon Song had to cut that ball off because it was drifting away. It was a tough throw from Fernando, and that's why they ended up cutting that throw off. We appreciate the phone call. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We are going to head to break. When we come back, we need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff, and we will also talk about whether or not these stars around Major League Baseball are aging or if it's just a bad stretch. We'll get to that as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. $12:42 on a Friday. It's good to have a Friday. This show's flying by for coming off of an off day, Frank.
Yeah, this is, I told you a couple of breaks ago, this is the fastest the show's felt all week.
Do you know what? This week wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be.
No,
the Dodgers
it was
are
not.
in town. Not as many crash outs. That was fine.
It's almost like what we said worked, you know?
I talk people off the ledge before it happens. Hey, guys, it's not the end of the season. Big weekend series against the Athletics. The Padres trying to bounce back after losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, which I thought they competed very close with over the last 3 days. Third day didn't really go their way. In the next hour, we're going to talk about some aging stars. Jim Bowden did a deep dive into some of the stars around Major League Baseball who are not playing at a high level and whether or not it's age or it's just a bad stretch. He had some interesting things to say about Manny Machado in that particular sense. We will get to that in the 1 o'clock hour. We will also get to today's manager's report in the 1 o'clock hour as well. Craig Stammen was on with the morning show today. He joins the morning show bi-weekly. And we'll have some interesting comments to play from Craig Stammen. We will also get you ready for Padres and A's to finish up the show in the next hour. We also have tickets to give away in the next hour for Padres and Phillies. That game will be on Monday to start the next series for the Padres. We will not be on air on Monday, and neither will anybody else. It will just be Sam Levitt. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will be on Monday, as with the only airing that we have of live coverage of sports here in town will be the Padres game. So Monday's game against the Phillies will be a 3:40 start. And the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will start at 2:40. So that will be Monday's plan of attack. Also, that will be what the tickets we're giving away for in the next hour will be for Monday's game. It's a 3:40 start, EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 2:40 on Monday. Padres will resume their homestand tonight against the Athletics, a 6:40 start, 5:40 pregame. We also have a 6:40 start tomorrow as well. Not the usual 5:40 time. So Padres and A's are 6:40 the next 2 days and 1:10 on Sunday. But without further ado, we do this all the time at about 12:45. We get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, what do you got for us today, and who do we got playing?
We have John playing today. John, okay, there was clearly a mix-up as to where he said he was because
I remember what he said, though.
Yeah, we have John from wherever, it doesn't matter, calling in. John,
Lakeside to us. Yes.
John, how you doing today, bud?
Doing well, thanks, guys.
All right, so today's topic again. Today's our Fun Friday topic. It's going to be food related again.
Mets.
According to foodallergy.org, what are the 9 most common food allergies? John, you have the first guess.
How many are we going with?
What are the nine most common food allergies? Take a guess.
Peanuts.
That's got to be number one.
I have that one. Yes, peanuts. It's not ranked in a list. It's just the list of most.
It's food allergies too, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I was thinking peanuts.
I have that one.
Dairy.
Milk, dairy, yes. John?
I don't like fish or seafood. How about that? Fish.
Fish is on there, correct. And that's the actual swimmy fish.
Okay. I was gonna say shellfish. Is that a different one? Okay.
I have that one.
Why do you always gotta make it about you, dude? Always. You are such a M-I-A-M. Make it about me. The answers either have some disease Frank has, some allergy he has, or it's the Mets. That's literally all these answers.
Go ahead.
You know what? If you know a lot about Frank Marchese, you'll probably win the Midday Sports Standoff. At some point in time.
I don't have any more of these, John. Go ahead.
I know it's food. What about like gluten? Is that a?
I mean,
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you for wheat. Yes.
Yeah,
wheat,
that's kind of like a
same
gluten
thing.
deal.
Yes.
What about soy products?
Correct. We 6 down, got 3 to go.
Got nothing else. Let me see.
So
We've said dairy, milk, dairy, peanuts, soy, wheat, gluten, shellfish, and fish.
And we're missing how many?
3.
3 of them.
I got no idea right now. I'm drawing a blank. How about ranch dressing?
Wow, that's oddly specific.
Yeah, no, that one. Unfortunately, not.
Eggs.
Yes, eggs is 1. John,
I got one. How about soy?
You already said soy.
I just said soy.
Oh, you kidding me? I got nothing else. Pizza.
Pizza.
God, that'd be an awful existence, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're down to 2 more.
Yeah, it's down to 2. And if you get this one right, you'll win because you'll have 5.
Okay. See, this is where I feel like, because this is what I'm thinking on this. And maybe this messes up John, but peanuts is not all nuts, right? Like that's specifically peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's other nut allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with other nuts. Isn't that like tree nuts or something like that? See, if John was thinking like
nuts,
peanuts count as all nuts, it's kind of unfair. But
so that would be 5. Braden, you have 1. You want to try to guess the last one, which is funny because that's the one my mother said was going to be the toughest one to get.
I don't know.
It's another oil one.
Oil? Like seed oils?
Yeah.
That's it? Seed oils?
No. It's
a seed oil.
Yeah, it's a seed oil. Yes. Comes on buns.
Sesame seed oil. Really?
Yes.
That's the top one?
Dairy, eggs, peanuts, soy, wheat, tree nuts, shellfish, fish, and sesame are the 9 most common food allergies.
Interesting.
There you go. You just learned something today.
The seed oils was definitely different for me. I didn't think that was going to be on there, or sesame seed oil, if you will. It was a good one, though.
Thank you.
Except for the fact that Everything's about you. I have this one. Oh, man. If you would have said that on the pizza, the ranch dressing, that would have sucked.
Collecting them like Pokemon at this point.
Yeah, that's not... You don't want to catch them all. That sounds miserable. All right. Fun game today. We're going to get to this conversation about these aging players, if you will. And the interesting thing is Jim Bowden, he compares them to other aging players, or should I say players that have made it to the Hall of Fame or other players in their careers for all of these guys, which is interesting. Guys like David Ortiz, Adrian Beltre, guys like Carl Crawford, Andrew Jones. I mean, they have all aged differently. Some of them, like Adrian Beltre, continue to play at a high level up until he's 39. Some guys like Andrew Jones fell off a cliff like almost immediately. So an interesting conversation that we're going to have here in the next hour or so. And I honestly don't think Jim Bowden has his take on this, and we'll tell you what Jim Bowden says in the next hour. But I think Manny Machado is in a little bit of the slightly getting older, but also bad stretch, because he's always starting off on bad stretches.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue the fact that he is beyond the peak, but he's still, I would say, pretty close to the top of the mountain. He's definitely on the downside of that mountain, but he's still very near the top. We said don't worry about Manny at the start of the year because he always starts out slow. You're 2 months in. He's usually figured it out by this point. So yeah, it is a little bit of worry time for Manny, but other than that, I mean, I don't see this being more than just a slump for him. Just like a nasty little slump to start the season.
I think so too. I don't think it's I don't think it's that big of a problem. I mean, he's still hitting the ball with the fence, so that's a positive, if you will. But we'll see what Jim Bowden had to say. It's not just Manny Machado. He talks about Manny. He talks about Marcus Semien, so that'll be fun for Frank to talk about. Salvador Perez, Matt Chapman, Corey Seager, Marcell Ozuna, George Springer, Cedric Mullins. Those are the players that are off to poor starts in which they're having this conversation about. We'll talk about that. We'll also get to what Craig Stammen had to say on Ben and Woods earlier this morning as part of our manager report. And later on, we will also get you a preview of Padres and A's to finish up the show, leading into Gwen and Chris, which will then eventually lead you into the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. And then Padres baseball against the A's. Should be a fun weekend of play coming up. One more hour to go on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. 1:00 on a Friday. Last hour of the Braden Surprenant show before a 3-day weekend. Hopefully you guys all enjoy your weekend out there in San Diego. We should have some pretty good weather this Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe, have some fun, get the grills out, enjoy the Memorial Day deals this weekend. I'm in the process of moving, so I am capitalizing on Memorial Day deals. And in the process of moving, I have now discovered that there are a lot of things that I don't have that apparently I use all the time that I have to now buy. Those are like the things that always happen. So
it's like, oh, wait a minute. I use salt.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on that.
I buy that once every 5 years. Hold on.
Yeah, I use this all the time. Oh, yeah, I'll just do this. I'll make some coffee. Make coffee with what exactly?
right.
Exactly. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. All right, let's talk about this article from Jim Bowden about some aging stars, Frank, if you will.
Okie dokie.
So Jim Bowden's taking a look at some of these players that are stars in Major League Baseball that are off to rough starts. And he puts, whether or not he thinks in the decline, declining, they'll rebound, just a slump, or he's cooked. One of these players is cooked, apparently, according to Jim Bowden.
Brother's roasted.
Roasted more than, never mind.
Cremated, if you will.
People love that when you said that. I still get DMs about that. Cremated. So, aging star problem, slump or permanent decline. The big picture of this article by Jim Bowden was he dives into the hardest realities in baseball, figuring out when a superstar's struggles are temporary or when age has officially won. Former general manager Jim Bowden frames Memorial Day as the point where teams begin making serious internal evaluations of the trade deadline. And the biggest question for contenders is often this: are we watching a slump or the beginning of the end? The piece examines several high-profile veterans whose performances have cratered early this season and tries to determine whether mechanical fixes can save these players, injuries are masking the problem, or irreversible age decline has arrived. And in this article from Jim Bowden, it repeatedly stresses one harsh truth: once bat speed and reaction time disappear, they rarely come back. That's why we talk about hard hit percentage and reaction time and bat speed all the time, right?
Funny how that kind of works together.
That's kind of how this works a little bit. That's what these teams look at to determine whether or not they're in trouble or not. So Jim Bowden uses examples like David Ortiz, Adrian Beltre, Miguel Cabrera, and Joey Votto to explain how differently stars age. Some elite hitters remain productive deep into their 30s and 40s, like Adrian Beltre. Others collapse almost overnight. And the scary part for organizations, there's no really reliable formula to predict which player is next. Jim Bowden also hints at how much harder aging is in the post-PED era, where players can no longer artificially maintain peak performance late into their careers. That's also interesting. The first player he talks about is Manny Machado. He's hitting 182 with a 277 on base and a 339 slug. His OPS plus is 73. This is the worst start of his career. But Jim Bowden doesn't believe this is a problem for Manny Machado. He believes, and his verdict is, he'll rebound. He is one of the central figures in the article because of his struggles have become impossible to ignore. I think he gets masked a little bit by the fact that Fernando Tatis Jr. is also struggling. He's not part of this equation because he's not an aging veteran yet. But if you look at Manny Machado's metrics, 2023, bat speed 76.7, 2025, 74.5, 2026, 74.1. All of those in terms of bat speed, they have fallen off, but not dramatically. It's still above league average as well, which matters because bat speed decline is usually the clearest sign aging is winning. This is the conversation we had last year with Xander Bogaerts, did we not?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Bowden also instead points to the attack angle changes, approach issues, and opposite field tendencies. This is all information that we could pull from Baseball Savant. Machado is lifting the ball less and pulling it less. Wow, where have I heard that before? The implication is swing path may be simply out of sync. Obviously, Machado is signed through 2033, over $39 million annually, through age 40. That contract completely changes the stakes of Manny Machado. So if this is decline, it becomes one of baseball's biggest long-term concerns. But if it's mechanical, the Padres will survive. And Jim Bowden thinks it's mechanical. I also think it's mechanical. I also think it's interesting that the two hitters for the Padres, and we haven't looked at Jackson Merrill's swing yet, but the two stars for the Padres that are struggling have the same problem. Lifting the ball less, pulling it less. That's an interesting conversation. But overall, based on the data that Jim Bowden has looked at, based on the data that you and I have looked at, Frank, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because we've been saying it for a long time, but just like Fernando, I think this is just a hard slump for Manny to start the season.
Yeah, this is by far and away the worst slump of his career to start a season. And it is an outlier just in the same exact way that his hot start last year was an outlier. It's just, unfortunately, it's just the way this season has gone for him.
Let's talk about the Mets. Haven't had a good crash out in a long time. Marcus Semien.
Yes.
Jim Bowden thinks Marcus Semien's in trouble. He may be the clearest decline candidate in the article, according to Jim Bowden. He points to collapsing slugging percentage, declining on base, poor exit velo, age-related deterioration. Even though Semien still defends well, he remains a respected leader. The offensive production appears almost gone. And the biggest criticism, of course, is, and Jim Bowden openly is criticizing the Mets for trading Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien because, and this is significant because former executives rarely criticize trades this directly because they know what it feels like to be in the situation. But Bowden essentially says warning signs already existed before the Mets acquired Marcus Semien, yet they did it anyway. And it reflects a growing MLB fear that paying for leadership and past reputation while ignoring aging metrics is a problem. I don't think that was a problem for some of the Padres pickups that they have had or signings, but the Mets, Marcus Semien has started to show signs of decline with his analytical numbers of bat speed and all this other stuff, and they still decided to trade for him. He is probably the biggest candidate for aging is winning. What is your take? Because you watch more Mets games than anybody in our audience about Marcus Semien. Is there a difference between what he is doing and what Manny is doing?
You have two general managers. One of them is AJ Preller. The other one is David Stearns. One of them is a colossal, moronic idiot, and the other one is AJ Preller. Anyone with half a brainstem knew that this Marcus Semien trade was stupid. You want to get Brandon Nimmo out? Fine, whatever. That is what it is. If you trade for an over-the-hill second baseman, who, by the way, you had at that time Jet Williams coming up that was about ready to go. Luis Angel Acuna, you still had at that time, who could have played second base. Ronnie Mauricio, who's hurt now with an injured thumb. He's a middle infielder. All of those guys are generally shortstops. All of them are blocked by Francisco Lindor. Why couldn't one of them play second base? That's why you've had them in the system. Ronnie Mauricio's been in the system for like 6 years. This was his time, and you trade for Marcus freaking Semien,
who's owed $26 million every year for the next two, and then $20 million in the third year, and is hitting you for $24 million towards the luxury tax.
It's just just pure, unadulterated stupidity out of the boy genius, as Joe Benigno likes to call him, David Stearns. Is every day that goes by, he gets exposed more and more for a fool.
I think Marcus Semien is trending in the wrong direction. How about Salvador Perez? He represents a different category. He's still useful. He's still dangerous. He's clearly aging. He's hitting 199 right now with a 343 slugging percentage, worst slash line of his career, extreme chase rate. Jim Bowden believes that Perez may simply need more rest. Catching mileage is catching up to him. But, I mean, at this point where he's at in his career, I think this is the start of a decline for Salvador Perez. I think you've started to see some of the decline offensively over the last couple of years. He's had some ups and downs, but, I think Salvador Perez has seen, his best years already.
Yeah, 36 years old. This is usually when, especially for catchers, you start to see that decline. You start to see that drop in production. He's still good for a solid moment. He's still good for that. And of course, there's not many guys out there who are better than him at handling a pitching staff. But yeah, he's a lot further down the backside of that mountain than a guy like Manny is.
I mean, it might be it's going to be time very soon to start working rookie catcher Carter Jensen in way more than maybe Salvador Perez, and maybe Perez plays more. That's why he was playing first base, I think, a little bit last year, and why he'll probably DH a little bit more, but it's starting to decline. How about the Giants and Matt Chapman? What a bad year he has had this year, especially after he said catch the bleeping ball to San Diego and Casey Schmidt. He has been awful. He has had just awful numbers. And he may have the most alarming StatCast trends despite elite bat speed and solid chase rate. His hard hit metrics have absolutely collapsed, which is terrifying because it suggests the swing still looks powerful, but the actual impact quality is starting to disappear. That's bad news for the Giants, who could already be thinking about an exit strategy.
And he only had like 1 or 2 really good years before he signed that contract. He looked promising for sure, but I mean, he's looking like a huge contract bust. He's kind of turning into the guy that people here think Manny is already. He has not been good at all.
You know what's funny about this article, though? And I brought up that whole catch the effing ball situation. Jim Bowden floats out the idea in this article to trade Matt Chapman while they still have value, which is notable because he signed through 2030 and he was expected to anchor the franchise. Yep. And Bowden suggests San Francisco should pivot towards Casey Schmidt being the everyday guy over Matt Chapman and trading him away. Karma's a bitch.
No kidding.
Mr. Badass over there. Catch the bleeping ball, bro. Catch the bleeping ball. Catch my throw, bro.
Catch the bleeping bench, old man.
Yeah. Hey, catch this one-way ticket to Cincinnati, old guy. Have fun in Miami, big shot. I'm sorry. I have to enjoy this at this point. That's because it's comical. It's just kind of comical. Mr. Awesome Matt Chapman. Better learn Kansas City, bro.
Better learn Kansas City.
How you like the south side of Chicago? I heard Cleveland's nice this time of year. I mean, at this point, you might as well just list a bunch of American League Central teams. Patrick Bailey's having a good time in Cleveland. Why don't you join him?
Yeah, right.
Giants are in trouble.
Teammate.
I love making fun of the Giants.
He knows how to catch the bleeping ball.
Yeah. Why they call him a catcher, not a chaser back there. Corey Seager. Treated differently. He's dealing with a back injury. Hard contact metrics remain strong. Jim Bowden believes the strikeout spike is likely injury-related, not aging-related. Seager's body may eventually force a move off shortstop in terms of like a warning sign, but Jim Bowden thinks he'll rebound. I think he will too. I mean, Texas's bigger concern is, the Rangers didn't sign Seager to become an injury-prone DH in his early 30s. They signed him to be a franchise shortstop for a decade. That tension is quietly building, but I think Corey Seager's still going to be able to produce at the plate, even if they don't play him at shortstop.
The fact that he's only 32 was surprising to me because it feels like he's been in the league for like 10, 15 years. Like he's been in the league forever.
It felt like he was in LA for 10 plus years, and now it feels like he's been with the Rangers for like 10 plus years. Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to bounce back too. I mean, it's hard to evaluate a guy that's got a back injury to go out there and swing every single day. Jim Bowden says this guy's cooked. I agree. Osuna from the Bucks.
Uh-oh.
The harshest evaluation of the article.
Osuna from the Bucks is Osuna from the cremated?
Yeah. Declining power, declining hard hit rate, negative WAR, batting 179. Bowden openly calls him a release candidate. That's significant because veterans like Osuna's resume usually receive longer organizational patience, but this is a guy that was rumored to potentially go to the Padres, and I was totally against it. Aside from the Osuna from the Drays, Osuna from the Pods would have been hilarious. you saw his last couple of years in Atlanta were not very good. There was no reason to believe he was going to turn things around. The Pirates are the perfect position to try to take a chance on a guy like Marcell Ozuna at this point of his career because they're a team that's kind of competing, but not really. They can make the quote splash, but his last couple of years in Atlanta were not very good. I know he was an all-star in 2024, but he had the last year seemed like a long couple of years, hitting 232, 756 OPS. He had another year in 2021. I know he only played in 48 games. He didn't have good numbers. He's been just aging quickly, and I'm not surprised that he is having the year that he's had.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I agree. He would not have been a good fit here, minus the incredible meme potential. But other than that, yeah, this is just unfortunate to see. But yeah, it's chat. We're cooked.
Yeah, he's cooked. They talk about George Springer. He's got an injury with his toe. So I don't. The injury ones I think are tough to evaluate. The last one I thought was interesting was Cedric Mullins. He gets compared to
another one of the Wonder Boys' great decisions last year.
Cedric Mullins, according to Jim Bowden, he compares him to Carl Crawford, Michael Bourne, and Jacoby Ellsbury. Those are not great names to be compared to at this point in your career because he values speed players age fast. And he once was, once speed fades and on-base ability slips, their overall value can collapse quickly. And I think you're seeing that with Cedric Mullins right now. I mean, he was an all-star a couple of years ago for Baltimore and was a really big piece for that Orioles team. And now he's like, I think the decline is real. I don't think you're going to see. I don't think Cedric Mullins has I don't think he has a lot of years left.
No,
in Major League Baseball.
Nope. And this is usually when, and a lot of it could be masked by the fact that Tampa Bay is one of the best teams in baseball right now, leading the National League East, American League East ahead of the Yankees. But yeah, he is not great. And again, after seeing him on a day-to-day basis, 2 months was more than enough for me to go, you know what? Maybe Cedric Mullins ain't it anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. So we're at the Memorial Day break. Where teams start to evaluate for trades, which is probably why you're seeing a lot of trade articles popping up, and whether or not these stretches are real or fake, I guess, if you will. I think there's some positive signs. I mean, you look at some of these other aging players, Manny's got way better analytics than these guys in terms of his health, his youth analytics, if you will. And that was the same thing with Xander Bogaerts last year. And he's been great to start the season. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Stay tuned for a trivia question in the next segment to win you tickets to Padres and Phillies on Memorial Day. But when we come back, we're going to hear from Craig Stammen, what he talked about, with the morning show. We have an update on Jackson Merrill. We got a lot of information on Fernando Tatis Jr. We're going to get to that when we come back as part of the Manager's Report on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 125 on a Friday. Lead you into the Memorial Day weekend. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Static is Urban Sports Station 97.3. The Fan. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. And before we get to the Manager's Report, which is also presented by SDCCU, the Manager's Report with Craig Stammen is brought to you by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. Let's get to the phones. Derek in La Mesa is calling in. What's going on, Derek?
What's going on, man? Beautiful day in San Diego. Frank, I'm actually doing a welfare check on you, brother. Arson Fudge is driving the struggle bus right now, not getting a lot of hits and definitely isn't hitting any home runs. But I'm thinking that's not why you're depressed, Frank. I think it's because you haven't had an opportunity to talk to me in a while. Are you good, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Yesterday's news kind of stunk, but other than that, yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I just wanted to check on you, Frank. Since you and I are friends and we talk so much lately, I just wanted to make sure you were good because we've kind of lost contact. But, hey, man, the Pods are doing better than just treading water. That series against the Dodgers, I hesitate to say that it sucked because we lost 2 out of 3, but it was competitive baseball. The third game wasn't. But I'll tell you what, man, Braden, I've been a big proponent of, kind of believing that although I think Tony Gwynn is the greatest hitter ever, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen. Steroids, whatever. I don't care. He was a good defensive player. He could run. He hit bombs before and after steroids. But I'll tell you what, watching that pitching performance of Ohtani, and I hate giving credit to Dodgers because I do not like the Doyers, but watching that guy throw against the Padres, bro, that guy is filthy on the mound, and obviously the power speaks for itself. So I just want to call in and do a welfare check on Frank. Frank, you sound good, buddy, and hopefully we'll talk soon. You guys have a great day.
Appreciate it, Derek. Thanks for the wellness check. I thought Frank was going to give a wellness check on Derek because Aaron Judge doesn't hit home runs, and the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate that our entire correspondence relies based solely on one person that's not either one of us. So that is a little unfortunate.
Let's get to today's Manager's Reports presented by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's Betterg. Craig Stammen was on with the morning show earlier today. Obviously a glaring question for the Padres is the offensive process. Is he satisfied with it?
Yeah, I would say to a degree. Obviously, results are tied to the process a little bit. I feel like our process has been really good. At times, we're just not getting the results that we wanted to. I think the series in Seattle was very good. Yeah. Where it felt like some of the process that it was coming to fruition a little bit. And then obviously we're facing an elite pitching staff for the Dodgers the last 3 games. And, it tests some of that. Tests whether you really believe in what you're doing. And because sometimes pitchers are just going to get you. Yep. And, that's part of the game. But, that's the beauty of also playing the Dodgers too, is it's a good test. And, same way that we test them, they're testing us, and it gives us a clear point of evaluation and, where we need to get better and how we can improve to, hopefully be a championship caliber ball club.
That's Craig Stammen on with the morning show on our Manager's Report, talking with Ben and Woods about a lot of different things. Obviously, Jackson Merrill left the game early in the last game. What was that, Wednesday now? Wednesday. Here's the latest update that he had. Obviously, I think there's probably going to be more of an update probably later on this afternoon, but here's what Craig Stammen had to say about Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, the good thing is all the tests came back negative, so no, rib fracture or anything like that going on. He's just still day to day, pretty sore, when it happened, and checked on him yesterday, still pretty sore. So we'll see. It was as good a news as we could have got, based on the medical report. So, he should be back in there, here this week at some point.
Craig Stammen on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning. He also talked about how does he answer offensive questions as a former pitcher, because of it, he gets asked about it as a manager, and the offense isn't doing very well. How does he answer these questions?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not as easy for me to answer those questions. I wasn't one that stood in the box for 600 at-bats during the season. But that's why you have a great coaching staff, and we have a great coaching staff with a lot of major league playing experience of guys that have been in the box and have experience of being everyday position players. And that's very helpful for me. And the other part of it is I've been around baseball a lot. So, I know enough, to be dangerous, I guess you could say, but enough to know where to go for the right answers. And we're constantly thinking about that and, constantly trusting those guys too, the guys that are actually playing, because they are big leaguers and they've gotten here for a reason. It's because they've figured out how to handle failure and how to go through slumps and come out on the back end. I think sometimes we think that these guys, their journey to the big leagues was perfect and that they never had any struggles. And that was just like, they've always been good. And when it goes wrong, they don't know what it's like when it's wrong. And I think that's the opposite case. These guys go through slumps on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, and they've always, figured out a way to get through that. They're elite adjusters, and I think we're in the process of making those adjustments and hopefully getting this offense clicking the way we expect it to be.
Now to move on to Fernando. And what role is he playing with Fernando right now? Obviously, a lot of different spots. He's playing second base. He's playing some outfield. Seems like he has played more second base as of late. And before we talk about maybe where he bats in the order, let's talk about what his role is.
Yeah, we kicked off the call talking about process. I'm making sure that our processes are in the right spot and that we're doing it the right thing and that we're intentional with how we're coaching Fernando. And I also, probably my biggest attribute is encouraging and supporting and making sure these guys feel, valued as human beings so that when they do struggle, it's not the end of the world. It's part of it. But we're going to work our tails off to figure out a way to stop struggling. And so that's where I'm at with Fernando, is I got his back and whatever he's doing and supporting our coaching staff and whatever they feel is best way to move him forward at the plate. But then I think the also part is, what I've got to do as the manager is also recognize where he does help us win a lot of baseball games. Yeah. And that may not always be at the plate, but it's all the other things that he does for our ball club. And that's playing multiple positions on defense and running the bases the way that he does and impacting the game in different ways, that make him such a great baseball player. And, so much of the focus is on him at the plate, but, he's piecing it together and he's still finding a way to impact the games and help us be a great team. And he's a big part of why, we're sitting there with 29 wins and on pace for, a pretty good season.
Last thing that Craig talked about as Craig Stammen joined Ben and Woods on the Manager's Report presented by SDCCU. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Was about as he contemplated moving Tatis down in the lineup.
Yeah, I think we tried that a little earlier, batting in fifth for a little while. I just didn't love how it looked. I don't think it took any pressure off of him. I don't think
it's true.
I don't think it did anything, honestly. And Fernando, being the player that he is and how much he believes in himself, actually admitted that he likes leading off. And so, that's kind of was a little bit of the decision making on allowing him to bat leadoff or putting him back at the top of the order. And I just it just is a good feeling when he's batting leadoff for us. I don't know what it is. Even when he's not hitting at his peak, it feels good, sending him out there at the top and hey, this is our guy, and believing him in that way. And I think, it could change tomorrow. Obviously all this stuff changes daily or changes, based on, our conversations with the players and how they're feeling and all that kind of stuff. But, for now I see him kind of batting, at the top of the lineup.
What I love about Craig Stammen is just how real he is. I mean, you went from a previous manager that was not real at all with a lot of his answers on this, when we used to do this, in previous years. Craig Stammen is real. I mean, he's just saying how it is. I respect that. In this day and age, where every manager's got to talk in circles to try to not give up in it. He's just I like the way it looks. There's something about it. I like the way it looks with him being in the number one spot. I don't really like him batting down at fifth in the batting order. That tells me they're not going to move him down at all. And also, I mean, he admits it. It's how much extra pressure how much less pressure does he have now batting fifth than he has batting first? Does it really matter after the first time he threw the order? Where's the pressure coming from? It's coming from Fernando. Does it really matter where he's at in the order? Do you think he's going to alleviate some of the pressure he puts on himself to hit a home run? Totally agree with Craig Stammen on that. We'll see what the lineup is tonight for the San Diego Padres. We will preview Padres and A's when we come back, the 3-game weekend series. But also, we have tickets to give away for Padres and Phillies. If you want to get Padres and Phillies tickets on Memorial Day, which is a 3:40 start, you can get your tickets at padres.com/tickets. Be the first one to call in and successfully answer today's trivia question, which, by the way, don't see it's that difficult today. Helping you guys out on a 3-day weekend. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. First one to call in and tell me, or Frank, I guess Frank's going to be answering the phone. First one to tell Frank who the best Phillies player of all time is, according to WAR. You will win today's tickets to Monday's game. You will win today's ticket giveaway to Monday's game. 3:40 start on Monday against the Phillies. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Best Philly of all time, according to WAR. First one to call in and answer that correctly will win tickets to Monday's game. We'll announce the winner and what the correct answer is when we come back with a Padres and A's preview as well to finish up the show on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show this week. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about this weekend series, Padres and A's. Gwen and Chris will be on after us from 2 to about, 5:40? And then the Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt will start at 5:40. Get you ready for Padres baseball. Padres and A's at 6:40. Should be a fun-filled weekend at Petco Park. And a big congratulations to Juan in Oceanside winning the tickets today. He will be going to the game on Monday. Padres and Phillies start a series on Monday at 3:40. We will be off on Monday in observance of Memorial Day. And again, as we mentioned yesterday, and I'll mention it again, this is a holiday that it's a little bit different, right, than Veterans Day. Veterans Day is about, veterans in the military. Memorial Day specifically is about those that have given their lives for this country and serving this country and serving all of us. And in a world of a lot of division, especially in our country, we should all appreciate these men and women that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to live the lives that we live. And that's what Monday is all about. So when you're having your barbecues and you're spending time with family and you're enjoying the day off on Monday and enjoying this weekend, remember why you're able to do that. It shouldn't be controversial, but these people have given everything for us to live the life that we live. And their families have given everything for us to live the lives that we live and be able to celebrate Padres baseball and be able to enjoy this great weather, to be able to enjoy this great city and America's finest city. So remember that as we go through Memorial Day weekend. And I'm going to have a fun weekend this week. I mean, I got a lot of building of things to do this weekend, but should be fun. Looking forward to it. We have, I got my spring ball game today. Cathedral Catholic High School football. So we got spring football, final day of the we split our team in half and play a flag football game, if you will. I'll be doing that later on this afternoon. And then get ready for the weekend, which will be fun. Looking forward to it. So anyway, Juan won today's trivia question. Today's trivia question was, who was the best Philadelphia Philly of all time, according to WAR? That answer is?
Mike Schmidt.
It wasn't the Fanatic?
No, unfortunately, it was not the Fanatic.
All right. We tried, though. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Did Martin and Santee call in to try to win, or is he calling back in? Let's go out to Martin and Santee. Martin, what's going on, man?
I'm calling back in. I tried to win. I threw something out there that I've never done this before, Braden, where I've called for a contest, but it just struck me. Anyway, I did not prevail, obviously. Just wanted to say again, your short little monologue there about the weekend, it just provides perspective. It provides perspective on life. It provides perspective on our team, the Padres, that there are higher callings that so many have come to. And it just seems, I hate to say it, and as the Padres, station, we're just kind of beating the dead horse. And unfortunately, it's just a rough time for the home team. And, everyone said that they'll get through it. Yes, they are professionals. They got there for a reason, and they'll continue to play and do their thing for a reason. I'm feeling, the update today on Jay Cronenworth. I mean, that just felt sad. But the guys are there for a reason. They're going to come back. They're going to come out of it. And again, wishing you both a great Memorial Day weekend. Good luck with the IKEA stuff, Braden, exactly. Or whatever you're going to ultimately be putting together. But anyway, take care, guys. Always keeping it positive, which I appreciate, and the diversity and everything that you bring each week and each day to San Diego and the sports radio. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that, Martin. Thanks again. Yeah, you got to finish with the week with Martin Santee. We got more phone calls or people trying to call in? I'll let you I'll let you handle that as we talk about the Padres and A's. Padres welcome the A's to Petco Park this weekend for a 3-game series featuring 2 clubs trying to stay on top of crowded division races. The A's arrive in San Diego leading the American League West 26-24 and running a 3-game winning streak, while the Padres enter at 29-20 after dropping 2 of 3 to the Dodgers and now sit 1.5 games out of first place in the National League West. The Athletics have been one of the more dangerous offensive teams in baseball, ranking tied for 7th in OPS, and they've gotten big production from a young core that's starting to come together. The Padres, meanwhile, continue searching for consistency offensively, ranking 29th in OPS, but they've stayed afloat thanks to a shutdown bullpen and timely pitching performances. The A's lineup brings some real power here to Petco Park. This is not the rebuilding A's team Padres fans may remember from recent years. I mean, they have a legitimate thump throughout their lineup. Shea Langoliers enters the series with 12 homers and a 970 OPS. Nicholas Kurtz has become one of the hottest hitters in baseball this month, posting a 1017 OPS with 21 RBIs in May alone. And DH Brent Rooker, who was a Padre for like a week, and Zach Geloff each have 5 homers this month. Jacob Wilson has quietly been a stabilizing bat despite injuries around him. The A's are especially dangerous against mistakes in the zone, and the Padres pitching will need to avoid the long ball all weekend. Padres, on the other hand, obviously searching for offense again. They continue to win with pitching and bullpen depth, but the offense remains a major concern. Gavin Sheets has carried much of the offense lately with 5 homers and a 1058 OPS in May. Miguel Andujar has also provided a spark with 4 home runs this month. Beyond those 2, production has been difficult to find for this Padres team. Manny Machado has hit 3 home runs in May, but still owns just a 439 OPS during this month. And no qualifying Padres hitter currently owns an OPS over 585 in May. The concern for San Diego is that they continue to struggle creating consistent traffic on the bases, forcing them to rely heavily on isolated power and bullpen perfection. Bullpen edge obviously favors the Padres. If this series is close late, Padres will have the advantage. Their bullpen ranks 7th in baseball with a 3.32 ERA, and several relievers have been nearly untouchable lately. Jason Adam, Yuki Matsui, Mason Miller, Wandy Peralta, all 4 have yet to allow an earned run this month, and the Athletics bullpen has been solid, but more volatile, especially in leverage spots behind Hogan Harris and Scott Barlow. We'll talk about the pitching matchups in just a second. We got a phone call? Bill and Tierra Santa's you're on the line. What's going on?
Hey, Jaden, how are you?
I'm doing well.
2 things. I'm guessing Mike Schmidt for Philadelphia.
That is correct. That was today's correct answer.
Whoa. Okay. Feel good about that. And I have a take on Fernando. I'll make it quick. You know, he's I guess what you'd call maybe 5'2", maybe 5+2 player. So he's somebody who he has been doing already. He's reinventing himself just to keep on the field and keep playing. So he should be there. But I think everybody forgets that he had, serious shoulder and wrist injury, and that would have serious impact on his hitting. So, I think we're seeing that, now, but I think, he still can be a Hall of Famer in the mold of Derek Jeter. Go opposite field, hit it all around, and get 15 or 20 homers. But that's my take. What do you think?
I appreciate it, Bill. I appreciate you calling in and giving that take. Yeah, I think he can be that type of player. So we'll see what Fernando has in store this weekend. Kevin Acey reporting that, just like what we heard from Craig Stammen moments ago, Jackson Merrill's ribs are sore, but he is expected to be able to play in the next few days. So that's good news for Jackson Merrill. Pitching matchup tonight, Walker Buehler and Jeffrey Springs. Walker Buehler's quietly settled in after a rough start to the season. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 5 of his last 7 starts and has been much better at Petco Park with a 3.16 ERA at home. Jeffrey Springs doesn't overpower hitters with velocity, but he mixes speeds effectively and has historically generated soft contact. Padres hitters will need patience and discipline at bats because Springs thrives when teams chase early. And I'm pretty sure the Padres had a rough time against him last year, if I'm not mistaken. Not looking at it off the top of my head. Bold prediction for the weekend, Frank. Aside from Fernando hitting a home run, because that's our bold prediction every day until it happens.
Padres sweep.
That is a bold prediction.
I think the Padres sweep. I wouldn't say we're going to be coming on Tuesday talking about 4 straight wins. I don't think that'll be the case, but I think they'll handle the A's. They're going to give them trouble. This is a sneaky series against a team against the artist formerly known as the Oakland A's. But
Lasso Clemento.
I think they sweep them.
I think the Padres put together an offensive performance like they did in Seattle. I think they score a lot of runs this weekend. We will talk to you guys on Tuesday. Everybody have a fun and safe Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the Padre games. There'll be 4 that are completed before we hit the airwaves again on Tuesday. Remember what Memorial Day is all about as you celebrate with your family. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scravy with Gwynn and Chris. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Talk to you guys on Tuesday.